one to start off the
figs.
stream with.
When is it not?
You know what kind of fruit I love?
Fucking figs.
Boy, do I love to.
Every day.
Why is Rob not showing up?
Hello, everyone. We love
What a thing
is
talk
serious
about
now.
fruit.
I do not
Literal
like
fruit.
this new layout.
The mobile.
Today, we're going to talk
It's
about
really bad.
figs.
Oh yeah. Oh my god. It makes
It's
me
the
wanna
worst
fucking
update they've ever done,
scream.
Cari. Yeah.
How am
It
I
is
supposed to find
so
out where you wanna go?
disgusting.
I can't find my pen.
Twitch,
Yeah, it's
fuck
really
you. You
How
dumb
do you,
shit.
How do you do
That sucks so fucking bad.
this and know where everything is? Like my site.
I'm not gonna TikTok scroll live streams. I'm not.
Okay, Cari, I will
Anyways.
show you in just a brief second. Okay, you ready? So if you have your screen like this when you open up the app, there is a
there we
following
go.
button up here. Right there. Tap that. And you get this screen. You can find who's live by sorting. They're alphabetized at the top. And then
Brother
the offline down
E.
here.
For the E.
Otherwise, you have to do the frickin' sort from this thing, which is stupid. And then,
Absolute
once you
nightmare.
get into the stream, Cari, you have to like do some sort of tap, and then you can turn your phone portrait or whatever, and you can get it. Thanks for the sub, Mesh. Enjoy the badge.
Boys and girls, are we ready to descend
Oh
once more?
yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh
So last time,
Oh yeah.
I managed to stop the last of the wax creatures, and digging through the remains, you uncovered a symbol of Kalemvor inside, and you also kind of detected that they were enlarged magically. The butler Mariusz. We just
God.
lose them.
Just lost.
Goldy.
Goldy.
Goldy's been dipping out on like his internet. Blooping. Blooping and pooping.
Welcome back.
Sorry, inside there.
The just the next bullet point on the recap. The butler Mariusz gave you an advance of 5d10 gold, in addition to 10d10 from Magnus out from the village. You met the bishop at breakfast, and Grim had another one of his memories triggered.
Sure did.
Janus met with Magnus and realized Magnus might be the future or past founder of his Order of the Bloodhunter. And the Janus also met with the rat and entered into a bargain to reverse his fortunes. And then the last thing that happened, and I apologize, but I accidentally sent the image only to Renok.
Yeah, you did.
But you met with the Forge Master Felix Gata to help craft some of your gear and apparel for the gala tonight. And, the party kind of all headed back to their room to prepare and get dressed. And, I'd like you guys to introduce what your characters are wearing as you enter the main ballroom tonight. Maybe first into the room is Meshadieme.
Okay. You see me walking in with mostly white with trims of dark black and blue background hints everywhere, and a little bit of like the I want to say Jafar shoulder pads, but not as like pointy. And basically one of those Anbu fox masks with blue lines coming out for whiskers. Yeah, that's basically it.
Behind him is Chamilla.
She struts out like a peacock. No, literally like a peacock. She has teal mask with peacock feathers flowing off to the side, hair done fabulous, giant peacock feather earrings, and then peacock feathers off the shoulder, and then it's just a really, really long, flowing dress, slit up the leg, and she's just strutting.
Behind her is Renok.
As you hear very light tappings of what clearly should be boots, you see Renok wearing a white frock covered in a formal blue bolo with that has a golden. Sorry, that's too much detail. Let me go back. Two tassels on the back, looking very, very dapper, with trousers both laced on the sides, going crisscross. And finally, with a mask, with a bear inspired shape with a snout coming on out and two eye holes. Oh, and little ears. Why not? Oh, and a bow. He has a bow in his hair. I'm done.
Blue.
It's all blue. Blue that deep.
But the next is Maefyre.
So I didn't think of a outfit in advance, so I'm doing this on the fly. So let's fucking go.
Let's fucking go.
Basically, I've decided. I wanted her to be like flower themed, and I was wondering like what would be like flowers of the dead or something. But apparently, it's marigolds, and it's like anyway, I'm not gonna do that. Basically, I'm gonna have her like she's wearing like a one-piece dress that's the top half is like sleeveless, has a rounded neck, and the bottom half is just like if you can imagine like lily petals that are like going downwards, like obviously like it's like the bell is pointed down, so there's just like each part of the bottom half looks like just a giant lily petal, like in sections, and then she has a large bow at the back. The lily petals are pink, and the top half is like white or cream, and then she has like a hat that's shaped like lilies on her head, and a mask with like petals on the side of it. And she's got a little a bag, a clutch bag, you know, like a bag that you put over your shoulder, like a clutch bag thing with a strap on it. And she's got some stuff in there that she's brought. That's it. I did that on the fly. Let's fucking go.
Wonderful. Next up is not Van Valor, Grim.
Oh, am I muted? No, am I here? I'm here. Oh, I'm here. Oh my god. Yeah, let's fucking go. Grim is rocking up to the club dressed like this is exactly what I was picturing, and praise Gary Oldman for his fucking style. It's long, head to toe robes, deep purple with the gray gloves, and a Western-looking dragon mask.
And last is not Magnus. Janus.
The other one.
Janus is wearing a three-piece, very dark red, almost like burgundy, but a little bit more of a red to it. Three-piece suit with coattails on the back. Has a nice kind of undercoat belt that has twin scabbards separated for his swords, just to make him look a little bit more ornamental. On his wrists, on the suit coat, there are two clasps that are simple pewter bars, like a double bar kind of square, and matching is a pewter colored tie, that is a skinny tie, and a just simple tie bar to keep it in place on a jet black shirt. His mask is a simple black mask that just covers the majority of the forehead all the way across the bridge of the nose, and has some simple like spirals on it here and there, but it's very minimalistic. So maybe like 2 spirals that you can notice, and yeah, just very, very like classy, but not too loud.
You guys, all enter this room together, and there's lots of other guests all wearing, similar white glove mask attire, and you recognize a few people through the crowd. Like, the masquerades, it's mostly for show. You can still tell who people are through most of this. There's waiters moving through the crowd serving some hors d'oeuvres and some aperitifs being served.
And I'm serving cunt all day.
Steady on.
At exactly 7 p.m. or so, a figure kind of emerges at the top of the steps of the on the balcony in this room, and he announces himself. Ladies and gentlemen, lords and ladies, I now ask you to join me as we suspend reality for a moment and embark on a bit of make-believe. Welcome.
What could this be?
Before we all arrive at this distant realm, I will lay out the background. After feasting and festing, very much like many of you actually have done tonight, we cap this day of festivities with the grand masquerade ball. We find ourselves surrounded by dancing, lights, and laughter as the king and queen of the ball are about to be announced. This character disappears for a second and reappears on one of the other balconies in the room, now wearing an extravagant coat and a top hat. Your king of the ball this evening is the man in the rabbit mask, he announces, and a graceful male figure steps out from behind and strikes a dramatic, flourishing pose, taking a deep bow, and there's a round of applause as, people, the audience, down below kind of cheer for this newly introduced figure. His queen this evening is none other than the lady in the fox mask, and a female in a flowing dress emerges and twirls at the top of the steps. Ladies and gentlemen, on my mark, please remove your masks and we can officially crown our king and queen. 1, 2... And the scream echoes out from the audience, and in a flash, the fox pulls out a knife and begins to slash at the rabbit. Over and over, gratuitous blood is raining down upon the audience, and upon tasting it, it's wine. The man's wounds grow more and more as she continues to cut at him, and as a grand finale, he is teetering over the edge of the banister, and the rabbit slashes his throat and shoves his body over the edge, spraying the crowd once more with the wall of wine. The wine briefly blinds everyone before the room goes entirely black. There is a rumble and the lights flicker back to life. Both the fox and the rabbit have vanished. The announcer returns to the tops of the steps and yells out, "Guards, quickly seal the doors. There's been a murder, and the murderer is still among us." And the room applauds awkwardly, like still caught up in the confusion.
Roll for deception.
Inside check.
Yeah.
Was this actually a murder?
Is this stage or not? Is this fucking stage?
Give me a perception check.
Like it's
Somebody's like, bled.
Can I also to have a perception check? I'm also kind of like, oh.
Yeah, you can take this.
Thank
with
you.
Oh boy.
I'm like, whoa.
Wim is fucking down either way.
This is
Let's go.
Purse.
Whatever it is, we're doing it.
I got a 7, so I'm just in shock.
Between the three of you, you kind of notice that when the lights went out, that was theatrics. It was meant to hide something, and so something happened, but you're not quite sure what. Some kind of stage magic is what you kind of think.
I don't know if it's relevant, but I just wanted to say Chamilla didn't remove her mask, but I think she's kind of obvious who she is anyways.
The guards quickly move through the room and gather a key few individuals and kind of a lineup of suspects and parade them across the balcony and introduces each one. The first one is, oddly enough, the corpse. He's a unrecognizable person dressed all in a blood red suit, wearing that matching rabbit mask. The mask isn't a perfect match anymore because it's been mired with blood, but he wields the silver steak knife that was just used to murder him, and he flashes it around. The audience kind of applauds for him, and he moves on to the next suspect. This is a cook, and the cook is holding a massive platter of food, and he sets the tray down to juggle some turkey legs before spinning and throwing all three of them high in the air. He catches two in his hands and the third in his mouth just as it touches the ground. The audience applauds again. The third is the waitress, who is holding a platter towering with drinks, multiple tiers tall, and she spins on a toe and the entire tower teeters and survives the twirl. Again, another round of applaud for the waitress. The Baron, a man clearly made of money, oozing opulence, walks across the stage with a cane. With a spin, he launches the cane high into the air as it twirls impossibly fast, and he catches it again inches from the ground in a deep bow. Applause, applause. Following him is the Countess, wearing a massive feathered hat in a heavy coat. She spins and the coat falls off of her, revealing a stunning, shining dress, garnering oohs and ahs from the crowd. The next one is the Doctor, wearing a all-white outfit and a white plague mask, walks quickly and methodically. He takes a glove and runs a finger on the top of the banister and inspects it for traces of dust. The last is the Explorer, who's wearing a comically sized who has a comically sized magnifying glass, and she's inspecting everything. She cracks a whip dramatically and the crowd jumps. The narrator reemerges after introducing each suspect. And now, ladies and gentlemen, you have your suspects. Interrogate them to your heart's content and learn the true nature of tonight's murder. Coming out of the kitchens now will be another round of appetizers and another round of drinks. Please indulge yourselves before the main meal will be served after tonight's festivities. A few quick tips for the investigators out there. Try to determine how each of the suspects know the victim. You can ask them how they knew the victim. If you are stuck, you can always ask the suspects if they noticed anything strange this evening. Everyone will at least have a tiny clue in their answers. You will get more information by digging. Be careful. The murderer is among them and will lie to cover their tracks. And the last tip I have for you is the corpse is also a veritable source of information. Plus, the corpse cannot lie. Best of luck. The suspects make their way back down the steps and begin to mingle in the audience. And you have your adventure set out for you.
Real quick, Chef, I have good notes from all of this except for the Doctor. Could you say what the Doctor did for his flourish one more time for me?
He had a white glove and he ran a finger atop a railing inspecting for dust.
And he's wearing a plague mask?
Yes.
It was the rabbit that, or sorry, it was a fox that killed the rabbit?
A fox killed the rabbit.
Fox. Yeah, but the fox was a lady.
The fox was a lady, yes.
Wait,
it seems
the rabbit was a man.
Then it
The
can't
rabbit
be
was
any
a
of the
man.
male suspects.
That seems to be the case, yes.
And all of the suspects that were paraded, the Countess is the only one that showed as female. Is that correct or incorrect?
The
There's a
waitress,
Waitress.
the
Gotcha.
countess, and the doctor and the explorer were all females.
Okay.
Can I make an Arcana check for any disguises before or after this happened? Like disguise, self kind of disguise.
Yeah. An Arcana check. You're trying to see if any of them are magically disguised.
Yeah, during the act or after. So, oh, that's good. 19.
It does look like some magic has been applied to some of these actors. It looks like they're augmenting their appearance magically. You can't tell if it's malicious or
All
the
of
game.
them, or do I know which ones are doing before or after?
You think that a few of the masks that are a little bit more intense, they might be using some magic to create fake masks that are still breathable. So it's mostly cosmetic and convenient magic here. There's nothing
Okay. So
intense.
my main question with this is there a gender swap before or after? After, because we know one is a female. The killer was a female. Was the female killer disguising herself as a female? Kind of good thing? Or
I think we know.
Let's get some clues first.
They're all wearing like
Nothing among us.
masks that are making it difficult to tell who they were. No one
Alright.
like whoever was the fox was obviously not one of the suspects. Like just by looking at them. So you think it just might have been
part of the game.
part of the show.
Yeah.
Could I go up to the rabbit corpse?
The corpse disappeared as it touched the ground, and it disappeared in the darkness. The corpse is
wait.
now just a suspect.
We're
There's a
talking-
character playing this corpse.
She's
Right,
talking
can
about
I
the
talk-
character.
To the character playing him? You
Yes,
said he can't lie.
the corpse turns to you and greets you and says, "Good evening." Well, I
Good
suppose not a
evening.
good evening.
Yes, it's not gonna be fun to wash all
guidance.
that off, is it? Do you recall what your murderer smelled like?
Do I recall what my murderer smelled like? Probably a soft perfume. Nothing really is standing out.
Soft perfume, thank you.
May I see the
Was
murder
it-
weapon?
Go ahead.
He has the knife embedded into his chest, and he pulls it out and hands it to you. And it's a silver steak knife.
Can I just inspect it for any clues that they might have planted on it for the game?
Yeah.
I,
give me
I
a
would
perception
also
check
just
as you
say
look closer at this.
if it makes sense, I would also like to look at his kind of visible wounds, as it were, for the game.
When he pulled this knife out of him, you realized it was a prop knife.
Yeah. I'm just trying to say, as far as like when the murder happened, if there's anything that can be garnered, kind of like very general sense of investigation, not necessarily like murder weapon and slash mark type thing.
He looks at you, kind of evaluating, and he's like, "The weapon is you're looking at it closer, but I can tell this is a bit of a prop. But the real weapon was a silver steak knife. There were plenty around at all of the tables served this evening, especially around the more voracious guests. The ones that were eating heartier steaks and the such."
What's your sticks?
I'm gonna saunter over with a
All right.
already
I'll just
finished
get back
glass
to him.
of wine. Hello, hi, good evening. No, not for you though. I have a question. Could you tell us, if at all you saw, what was the expression on your would-be murderer's face?
Oddly enough, it seemed like relief.
Okay. Was that during or once the deed was done?
You know, it was really such a flash. And, you know, as the light was leaving my eyes, I saw less and less. But it looked like this was the culmination of a long history.
I see. One last question. Where can I get another one of these? I just hold up the glass.
Oh, any of the waiters will be around momentarily.
Oh, okay.
But my
Appreciate
friends,
it.
don't you want to know who I was? That seems like a pertinent detail.
I mean, my glass is empty. I have my priorities.
Yes, who were you? I'll ask. Renok, you go get some
Oh,
drinks.
thank you.
He burst into kind of a spiel. Here lies Major General Murtaugh, murdered this day with a silver steak knife. You can see that my coat is adorned with medals of valor and duty earned from a long life of service to the army of the land.
Have you ever pissed off a waitress?
The waitress?
A waitress.
A waitress? Oh, I'm sure I have. I was not a very agreeable person in life.
Did you notice anything odd while you were dining this evening?
Something strange this evening? Yes, I did. The doctor and the Baron are usually quite good friends, but something must have been different tonight, though. Perhaps some odd tensions were reignited.
The knife strokes, did they feel erratic and untrained or very precise?
An excellent question. These were very practiced swipes. They started on the more minor limbs, and only the killing blow was the only lethal strike. Whoever was plotting this had a steady and firm hand and was trained with the blade.
Thank you for keeping notes, Rob.
I got you, Awemei. You're muted, Cari.
How did
You
you?
can read them. Sorry, I just realized
I
you
can't
did.
show
Can't
my
read these.
digital notepad, but me too.
You're very sloppy. I appreciate Rob's.
You know, Rob, thank you for keeping notes. You specifically, and
Thank you for
literally
keeping
no one else.
legible notes.
I would ask you how you know the victim, but
Daddy looks good.
seeing as you are covered in wounds, I think that you know them well.
I suppose I knew the victim very well.
Yes.
Is there a reason why you chose to dress as a rabbit?
No particular reason, I suppose.
Okay.
What were your plans for tomorrow?
You do notice that this isn't on his list of questions, and so he's kind of
He's flying off the
fumbling for an
handles.
answer, and so he's kind of making something. I suppose they weren't too important, but we are out at the Baron's estate out in the countryside, and I haven't visited this part in quite some time, and so I was going to ask to borrow a horse and take a bit of a tour of the countryside with the Baron, who I haven't talked to in quite some time.
Got it.
Would you say that you are also good friends with the Baron and the Doctor, since you seem to know their relationship quite well? Or is this
The Doctor I'm not too close with. The Baron I have known for many years. We served together as officers in the army. After my tour of duty in the war, I was kind of bounced from post to post and was eventually offered an early retirement. The Baron was much more liked by the men, and he served a full illustrious career. I believe he only was taken out of duty after he was wounded.
Sorry, which war are you referring to?
Why, my lady, the war, the great war of our age.
Which
This
is...
I think it's the story. It's not an actual.
Ma'am, surely you know of the war that has involved most everyone tonight.
I haven't the
Yes.
fucking clue what you are
The
talking
War
about.
of the Realm.
He does kind of prop office mask like, it's part of the show, madame. It's the war that has occurred here between our great kingdom and the enemies from abroad.
It's like, the war.
Oh, okay. Apparently, it just went over. That had gone over Maefyre's head. So she's just like, oh, right.
You've been drinking.
Looks
Let's
around.
just keep it at that.
Come
Companion.
along, darling. Let's go talk to.
I haven't had that
The
much to
Baron.
drink actually. Certainly not as much as Renok.
You see Renok with an empty glass, and you can't tell if he's finished the second glass or if he's still trying
I'm
to find the
definitely-
second one.
Once we're
you
done
know-
questioning one person, I'm gonna just beeline right for the fucking doctor.
Did you know any of the other suspects and to what length?
I did. I've met most of them through or from service in the army. The waitress is familiar. I can't quite place where I might have met her, but I believe she was in the command camp with all of us. The cook was the cook at the command camp in the army, and he was, still doing that to this day. He's an excellent chef. In the army, he made miracles happen with the rations, and after the war, the Baron hired him on to be his personal chef.
I know an excellent chef.
The Countess, Lady Windwright, she was a typist, a secretary at the command camp, and she would be taking notes all the times for all the officers and commanders. The Baron, of course, was another commander, very much like myself. We often ate and dined together and became fast friends, but we had actually met before the war in training camp. The Explorer was one of the scouts who was let go for being a bit of a loose cannon during the war after some bad intel. And then the doctor was a combat surgeon during the war who had his fast and delicate hands and skills were necessary. And so he was kept in the camp to help treat those that survived the front lines. I believe he was the one who treated the Major General when he was wounded, and that's the reason that the Major General the Baron is still with us today.
So apparently everyone was in this army and they was all fighting on the same side.
He
Opposing
taps the sides of the nose, like, commending your investigation. She's like, absolutely correct, my dear. An excellent insight.
I would like to ask you a question. Before you were brutally murdered, did you suspect any of these? And now that you have been murdered, do you have any suspicions of who it might have been? Twofold question. One, do you have a suspicion of who it was? And if you can't answer the question of after you're dead, were you aware or suspicious prior to?
My lady, the war ended many years ago, and I've not done anything noteworthy with my life since. If someone killed me, it was because of something during the war that I have long forgotten. So no suspicions were immediately present. These all seemed to be, friends and comrades in arms. But nothing was immediately apparent.
Final question. Did you witness anything that any of these did during the war that they might want to be hushed?
I always felt my service was commendable throughout the war. I couldn't think of anything in particular.
Not that you did, that they did.
That they did.
Did you witness anything that they did that they wouldn't want you to tell others?
No, they were all very commendable. They were all upright in their duties.
Did you love anyone during the war?
I did.
Who?
I had a brief affair with the Countess.
Now we're getting somewhere.
I have come back.
How did that end?
It was one New Year's party, wine was flowing, the spirits were low, and so everyone needed a release. And I suppose the Countess needed one and sought out my company. It was a one-time thing, but I feel she has regretted it ever since.
They did the.
Thank you.
Got it.
He kind of bows graciously and says, if you'll excuse me, I believe I am needed for questioning elsewhere. And the doctor saunters up to your group.
Oh,
You rang?
No.
Did we ring?
no, I didn't. He did, though. Grim did.
Could you tell us a little bit about your background before you came here this evening?
One second, let me get you the picture of the doctor.
Doctor, please be one of the Time Lords. Oh wow, dapper.
Are they still in the masks or have they taken off the masks?
They're all wearing the masks still. Sorry, what was your question again?
Could you tell me a little bit about your background before you coming to the party so that we can kind of get to know you a little bit?
Of course. I am the Baron's on-call physician. After the war, I was in close contact with the Baron for many years now, and I'm a frequent guest at these parties and events. You know, the Baron and I are close friends these days. I was the one who treated him after he was shot in the leg, and he was relegated to the command office where we became long-term friends during the war, and then afterwards, we continued to enjoy each other's company, and I continued to monitor his leg and health over the time, as a good doctor should do.
Do you have any relationships with other members here? Personal acquaintances or closer?
More of a professional acquaintance with many. The Explorer and the Major General. I was asked to perform a psych evaluation of them during the war for various reasons. The psych evaluation of the Explorer eventually got her removed from the military, which was, in hindsight, truly a mistake. The psych evaluation of the Major General revealed that he had a lot of antisocial behaviors, willing to follow orders without question, a perfect soldier, but kind of a terrible leader. He had no compassion or remorse for the incident, and grew frustrated when soldiers refused to report to him. He was a stunted man, bitter and dwelled on the past, dragged out the worst of people, and continued to drag others back to their biggest mistakes.
You believe that how he treated, if I'm understanding you correctly, how he treated the Explorer pushed the Explorer to this psyche eval that caused them to leave? Can you perhaps re-say that?
Well, perhaps against my judgment, the Baron was the one who requested the psych eval of the Explorer. And I believe he used it to get her dismissed from duty.
But you said the Major General, his psych eval was that he was almost too dutiful.
The Major General's psych evaluation was part of a report filed against him after the incident, and...
What is the incident?
The Major General ignored a scouting report and got over 40 soldiers killed, his entire division. No one wanted to report to him anymore, and so he was shuffled around until he was forced to retire. After there was a report against his conduct, and I was asked to perform a psych eval for him to perhaps fast-track him out of the service. He managed to survive the inquiry, and after that my hands were tied.
Who reported it?
I believe it was the Explorer.
So, sorry, Chef. I'm getting the Baron and the Major General mixed up. The Psych Evals was the Major General, not the Baron, correct? The Baron's kind of like in charge of him?
Yes, the
Or her.
Baron was the one who requested the Psych Eval of the Explorer, and the Major General also was reported, and the Doctor was asked to perform a Psych Eval for the Major General.
Got it. Okay.
Right. The Major General is the victim, right? Just to clear
Yes,
that
yes,
up.
yes.
Yeah.
The corpse
Okay,
is the Major
okay.
General.
And what? You said that the explorer's value got her removed. How she was a loose cannon.
All I know is what's in my psych report, and she was a bit of a loose cannon. She, was very self-motivated. Nothing in the report alone should have gotten her dismissed, but it seems like someone else was gunning for her to be forced out of service.
And who do you think that was?
I couldn't say. The Baron was the one who came to me with the request to perform the psych eval and claimed he was following up on a separate report, but I have my doubts.
Are you disgruntled with anyone here?
No one in particular. I have a oath to follow as a doctor that I would never violate. I would never harm anyone directly. And I have, served my duty over and over, healing many of these people of their various wounds and injuries.
Rod, make sure
Tell me,
to
Doctor.
note down that he said he would never harm someone directly.
Yeah. Tell me, Doctor, have you ever trained yourself with weapons for self-defense?
Mesh is checking for lies. There's nothing overtly lying in any of his statements. You're also combating. This person is, being trained and coached on these things. So every single thing they're saying is a lie.
That's
If
because
you're
it's
trying
an
to,
act.
find the holes in the story.
Yeah, that kind of lie.
It's more, it feels like if you ask more directly about something or combat anything that they're lying about, they'll probably, fold immediately and give you more information. So you're not detecting, anything overtly lies. You're going to likely need to find something contradictory in statements and then challenge these people about them directly.
I want to follow up, go back to there's something I want to talk to the Baron about, but I do...
We haven't talked to the Baron yet.
Rob was also asking about, or Janus was asking about if he's trained with blades.
Just for self-defense, yeah.
The doctor would say all officers and, most of the commanding staff were trained with sabers in the officers' camp for the army. As a non-combatant, I was required to train with them, but I've always had a very steady hand, and I am an expert of anatomy, as is necessary for my physician. I pride myself on a stable surgery hand.
You do realize that this makes you a prime suspect, because we know that you are going to have a steady hand to do these tasks with a much smaller blade that would not normally be a large saber. You have a steady hand, and these cuts are very precise, and you have high motivation to lie to my face right now.
Yes, the cuts and wounds on the body were precise and deep. Someone skilled with a blade, but not quite as skilled as me, is the murderer. The murderer also must have some history with anatomy, as they were deliberately avoiding all of the major arteries until the end of their assault. The attacker is intimately aware of how to kill or save a person's life. I understand that makes me a strong suspect, but it is up to you to determine who is the murderer tonight.
Thank you, sir.
Where were you before the incident took place? In the hall.
Just kind of milling about, I suppose. Talking with a few people who I haven't seen in years.
And who might that be?
Well, the Major General was a bit of a surprise tonight. I was surprised to see him.
So you were
Why?
talking with the Major General before he got called up to the as the guest of honor.
Yes, I was talking him to more than a few others this evening.
Why were you surprised?
I've been to many of the Countess's parties over the years, and the Major General hasn't been invited to many of them. So, if any at all. So it was a surprise to see him tonight.
What is your relationship with the Countess like?
I believe she was a secretary in the command camp. She had never reported to me for any medical aid. So unfortunately, I didn't have a strong relationship with her.
Are you aware that the Countess and the... what's his name?
Major General.
Major General once had a fling?
No, I am not. And that's rather scandalous, as the Major General, the Baron and the Countess were married. You know, they were a thing for much of the war.
Not anymore,
They were married
though.
very shortly after, once normalcy returned.
Currently still married?
Yes.
He did say, he did say affair. He meant it literally.
I think we should talk to the Explorer next, if you guys are satisfied.
I bid you adieu. And the doctor bows out.
Nice mask, by the way. Unrelated.
Thank you. The Explorer is talking with another group of guests, and you kind of wait patiently for your turn, and she turns to you and greets you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. I'd like to know what your role in the war was.
I was a Sergeant First Class, a scout, responsible for gathering intelligence. And I was frankly excellent at my job.
And
Did you, sorry, I was just got a follow-up question. Who was your next in command?
I reported to the scout division, so we were a very autonomous group. We were tasked to go out and gather information and bring any intelligence we thought was relevant back to the command camp. So we operated mostly autonomously. I had some pencil pusher as a reporting structure, but they were irrelevant here.
You
Okay.
reported the misconduct of Major General.
I did, and it's a tragedy that report didn't end with anything more severe.
More than being let go, you wanted him to go to trial.
Frankly, I brought the intelligence back that warned him that sending that division into that valley was going to get them all killed. That particular mission, we needed to secure an area, and the only way to get there was through this valley. That valley was incredibly treacherous to get into, and that makes it doubly dangerous to get out of in a hurry. I advised avoiding the area entirely and forming an entirely different plan. The Major General ignored me and sent the division into the valley. They were surrounded immediately. They couldn't retreat, and the entire division was wiped out. I immediately raised a report that suggested the Major General was an idiot and should be removed. Instead, I find myself being court-martialed by the Major General and the Baron. Something in my profile now says I'm an untrustworthy agent written by that quack of a doctor, and the very same one here tonight. I get an honorable discharge out of the army after nearly a decade of impeccable field work. The war would have ended years sooner if I was able to complete my tour and properly provide the intelligence necessary for the success of our armies. Thousands of lives were wasted because of the Major General and Baron Windwright.
Did they tell you why? Yeah, did they tell you why you were discharged? Did they give you that info?
I was about to ask that. Why was he why was she court-martialed?
They gave some bullshit, unfit for duty rogue agent operating outside of my chain of command. Every vague excuse they could possibly give to get me fired.
The doctor claims that the report was clean for you, more or less.
Well, the doctor would likely be the impartial to all of this. Whatever was in his report was likely, presented to the other command in a negative light. So the Baron was the one who was leading the
executor of the
investigation into me.
Did the Baron also have final say on what happened to you?
Well,
or
the
was
Baron
that the
was
Major
supposed
General?
to be an impartial judge. He was gathering evidence, kind of acting as the prosecutor here. He brought together all the evidence and presented a case to High Command, and High Command ultimately made the decision.
That would be the Major General, correct?
No, the Major General was not allowed to participate as I had filed a complaint against him.
So you were functioning with a neutral party, with the Baron functioning as a prosecutor.
Yes, the Baron was intended to be a neutral party, carrying out the investigation, and then the High Command was a neutral, panel hearing the case.
Do you believe that the Major General was pushing to get you removed? And like a bird in the Baron's ear?
I believe so.
Okay.
I know they had ties, back all the way back to before the war. I always thought of the Baron as a more upright person than that, but perhaps the Major General had some sway that I did not know of with him.
To ask you a different question, Miss Explorer, did you have a specific training in the Scout Division for assassination?
I was a scouting and intelligence agent in the war, as a spy, bushwhacking through the dense jungles with nothing but a machete and black face paint. I wasn't trained to be an expert in survival, I just am.
I would really appreciate it if you didn't dodge my question. Were you trained for assassinations or not?
I am a pacifist, which is why I was a scout and not a soldier. I avoided all combat.
But you were trained for combat, as per the necessary means of the war, correct?
I was trained
Self-defense.
alongside all the other soldiers, yes.
Okay, excellent.
Was he trained in basic medical care?
That will be easy to cross-reference with someone else.
I've been known to be out in the field all alone. I've been bitten, cut, bruised, broken a limb. I've been known to need to do first aid on myself.
Would you say that you have steady hands when doing this first aid to make sure you're patched up?
To be stealth and steady is necessary for the survival. I would say I am exemplary at. that. I've
Di-
been under an enemy's barracks, quiet as a mouse, for days, tracking every single word they say, and they never knew I was there. I'm a very steady
Okay.
person.
Did you or any of the other suspects know anybody who got killed in the ambush due to the Major General's negligence?
I was waiting to ask that question.
Good question.
I did not know any of the men in the division. I was out on, after I gave the intelligence to the Major General in the commanders, I immediately went back out to perform my duties. The next time I returned to base, I heard about the incident and filed my report. I went back out on duty, and then after that was when the next time I showed up, I was court-martialed. So I'd only been in camp for maybe 3 or 4 days since all of this incident had occurred, and I'd only heard about it through secondhand information. So I don't have many close friends, and I didn't know anyone in the division.
Moving towards the household, did you have much correspondence with the Countess?
The Countess was typically the one who I would relay a lot of this intelligence and information to. She would be essential to helping type up my reports. She is a much better typist than I could be, and so she would help to gather and arrange my thoughts and evidence. So I have worked with the Countess in the past.
To
Do
go,
you believe it's possible that she could have warped the info that you gave her?
or do you review all of the information before it goes out?
I gave the information to the Countess, and then immediately headed back out to duty. I only learned that they had ignored all of my advice after a few months of being back in the bush.
At the outset of this, you called someone that you reported to all of your information as a pencil pusher. Is that how you're referring to a superior in the army as the Countess? With that kind of language?
It's all of them. I didn't mean anyone particular. The Major General, the Baron, High Command, the entire Inquirer to me. They're all just pencil pushers. Never served none of them ever faced direct duty. Even the Baron's injury was a misfire in the command base.
Oh, really? Interesting. Did he misfire his own gun, or did someone else misfire their gun?
I've only heard rumors. All I know is that all of them are just incompetent idiots who let this war go on for longer than it should have.
Seeing that you don't really like a lot of this system, is there anyone that you would like to implicate as who you think did the murder?
I don't know. There's
Any
I have my
suspects
own
that you have?
strong reasons to want the Major General dead. I know he did not make many friends through the war, and if he continued to, be an ignorant asshole like this, it's very understandable why someone would want him dead.
How familiar are you with the human anatomy?
As I kind of mentioned, I am a good field surgeon. I can bandage and repair most bruises and injuries in the field with a stick and some loose, palm fronds as threads. I can do what's necessary, and I know what's necessary to keep myself alive. So I'm a generalist on anatomy.
What were you doing before the murder happened?
This evening?
Yes.
Well, something strange I did notice was I was doing a bit of exploring, and I did find the cook and the waitress performing some extracurricular activities. And she winks at you.
I actually leaning forward. Go on.
I'll nudge you.
But is it not important? Okay, that's fine.
Why do you... Why... Yeah, never mind. Kind of an odd thing that they felt was relevant to tell us.
Well, you asked what I was doing this evening.
Yeah. Well, that would give you and the cook and the waitress an alibi.
No, that's not true.
That was. I will
I'm not
clarify.
saying that's true.
That was
I don't
earlier
mean
in
that
the
I
evening.
believe it. I'm just implying to the person I'm trying to interrogate.
Who are you with or talking to just before the victim got called up?
I was talking with the Baron.
Anything in particular you were talking about?
I had actually gotten a bit heated talking with the Baron. We were talking about the war, and it was the first time seeing. Sorry, not the Baron. I was talking with the Major General. It is the first time I had seen him, seeing the asshole in quite some time, and I gave him a bit of a piece of my mind. I didn't expect to see him tonight, and I lost my zen for a moment as I tore him a new asshole.
Can I ask you... You're telling me you were talking to him before the lights went out.
I was talking to him before he was invited up onto the stage.
Ah, I see.
I think we're done here, guys. We have a lot of other information from many other people that we can find. Is there anything else that you would like to do with this person before we turn them over to the other guests?
Not at the moment.
I'm good. But I would suggest, can we talk to the Baroness next?
The Countess.
Countess, you mean?
Countess. Sorry, Baron. Sorry, Countess.
Yeah, Baroness, I get it.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
The Baron
I
Countess.
Same
got
deal.
both in my notes.
It's the same deal.
Kind of interchangeably.
Yeah.
Count Baron.
I wish you have a better
There
evening.
is like a bit of a chiming that kind of permeates the whole audience and that quiets down, and the narrator appears on a balcony and says, "We have now passed the 1 hour mark. It seems many of the people have served in the army. Figure out how they knew each other during the war, and that will likely lead to the answers we are seeking tonight." And there's kind of a murmuring of agreement. It seems like you guys have already have figured that out, so you guys are ahead of the pack.
Or ahead of the
And you wanted
perceived
to
pack
talk-
from this lady.
You wanted to talk to the Countess next.
Mm-hmm.
Dallan, are you available? You haven't asked a lot of questions, so I want to
Yeah.
let you lead a little,
I'm-
and then you and
I'm here.
Maefyre maybe take the lead on this.
Who is it?
Countess, you. Well, I guess Renok also, because I've been talking a lot.
In this,
I mean, I interject when I have an
You've got
additional
better
question above what
questions.
y'all are
Okay,
asking.
okay. I didn't know if you were still like kind of like hung up at the moment. So
yeah,
A little bit,
In
but
this
not too much.
in this theoretical scenario, did the Countess invite everybody to the party? Is this technically her party?
You don't know that. You can ask.
you can. Why don't you just leave with that, Mesh? And we'll start there.
Okay. Good evening, my lady.
Good evening.
Am I correct in understanding that you decided who the guests for this shindig would be?
Yes, I do. I am a bit of a party maker after all. I have arranged all of these little shindigs for many years, much to the delight of all of the guests here.
Until tonight.
I suppose this is a bit of a black mark on an otherwise pristine record of throwing excellent parties.
How did you know the Explorer?
The Explorer? I don't believe... Oh yes, I was a secretary during the war and she was one of the scouts. I would gather her notes and let me get the next music. I was a secretary during the war and she was one of the scouts. I would gather her findings and notes together.
What happened with the report that she gave you from and advice to not go down into the.
I passed off the report to the
Valley.
general, to the major general, and he continued with that folly against the advice in the report.
What made you decide to invite the Major General to this party as opposed to previous ones?
I did not invite the major general.
Oh,
Oh,
he's
so
a
who did?
I'm not sure. I prepare a guest list, and I usually send the guest list down to the kitchens and the staff, and they determine how much food to make and, how many people to prepare for. Then immediately gets sent out to all of the guests.
You would know if the Baron invited him, would you not?
The chef.
Well, the Baron... What did you need down?
He said the chef.
The
Chef?
Okay, sorry. The Baron and the Major General are old friends, but he typically requests the Major General to be here, but to tell the truth, we have a bit of a history, and I tend to lose his invitation and scrub the less desirable people off of the guest list wherever possible. And with so many people, the Major General in his old age is just a little forgetful, and he just will always be wrapped up in the excitement of the parties and will forget about these more minor characters.
Did you sleep with the Major General before the 40,000 soldiers died or after the war? And if so, why is the Baron still friends with him?
Keep under the hat. But okay.
Does he know? Maybe
Sip
he
my
doesn't know.
wine.
She is like...
He might not, but these things are, like, it's
Glug, glug,
an
glug.
important question to know.
That was a lot to unpack, my lady.
Yes.
She doesn't know how to ask a single question.
My husband and I, the Baron, are quite happy together, first and foremost. And we were together throughout the war and married after, once calm returned to the land. The affair that you mention with the Major General was a one-time thing at the New Year's party
And
that I was throwing after the incident to try to raise the morale.
And you didn't have a problem sleeping with a person that killed 40-something people?
That was a party for the ages, and I was caught up in the night.
And the Baron knows?
The Baron does not know.
The Baron does not know. That's why they're still friends. Okay.
Is
The
that
incident
why
we're
you
referring to above the game is the murdering of the bad report that was ignored and sent the
Yes.
people into the valley. That's the incident, or is the incident
Yeah.
him getting injured?
The 40.
The
I was
incident
asking
is the 40. Is the division being killed.
The division being
Yeah.
killed. Okay.
Is that why you stopped inviting the Major General?
It is. That man is a despicable rat who lords mistakes over people's heads wherever he can.
Was he
He would
blackmailing
have
you?
likely blackmail me if he could.
Likely blackmail. But was
I avoided him, and so that was never an opportunity.
Why did you kill him?
It's either her, the Baron, or the Explorer so far.
How dare you, sir? I did not kill him.
Does she smile like the actress?
did you
Does she
have him
smile
kill?
when he get her to break
She does
character a
the,
little
like, aghast, like...
bit? Amazing, amazing.
Why did you have him killed?
I can't keep track of the questions I want to ask us on all this.
Because you were
Write
afraid
him
he was going to
down.
blackmail you? Seems likely to me.
I did not have him killed either.
Right.
Well, that's
Let me ask you this
not a
then.
very good question, is it?
Could you tell me your relationship with the kitchen staff, both waitresses and cooks?
All I know is the cook and the waitress were both friends of the Baron during the war, and he brought them on afterwards.
Friends with the Baron, not with the Major?
You will find that the Major had not many friends.
On
No,
contrary, it sounds like the Baron had many, many friends.
The Major General did not have many friends. He was
But
the
the
one
Baron had
I had an
many
affair with.
friends.
The Baron was known to be well liked by the troops, and after his injury, he became a bit of a legend for, facing the war head on. But not many know that it was just a firing range accident at camp.
You
Yes,
would
But
say that-
still, he served despite
Wait,
his
what?
injury.
Back
Could you
up,
tell
back
us
up.
about that, please? The accident, I mean.
The Baron, who was at the firing range and a gun misfired and a bullet went through his leg. Fortunately,
Did they
it went
find-
through cleanly and we rushed him to the doctor very quickly. Same doctor here tonight who ensured there was no bullet remaining in the wound and treated him quickly. But my husband has had a limp for the rest of his life because of it.
Did they
Who
find out who
fired
shot
the
him?
gun?
Do they know who shot the gun?
All I know was they claim it was a misfire.
But they didn't say who misfired.
The doctor says he was shot, and the Explorer and the Countess now both tell us that he was shot by a misfired weapon.
Yes.
And the Countess has given us
he
the
was
most
shot.
information about this.
He was shot, yes,
A
and
bullet
he
went
was a
through his
misfire.
leg, no doubt, and he
I don't
was
question that, but
crippled
no
for
one
life.
no one gave you the information of who did it.
I would think of all people you would know.
I've asked the Major General about it. He prefers to
Okay.
talk about it with his physician.
Okay.
What are your
So
thoughts
the
on
Major
his psych
General
evaluation?
might know.
There's been no psych evaluations performed of my husband.
Oh, sorry.
Major General.
That's right. Yeah, I keep getting the Major and the Baron mixed.
Well, you could ask, why do you believe the Baron wanted a psych eval of the Major General?
Excuse me.
I believe he had a change of heart and realized that the Major General was not as good of a commander, as their friendship. They were friends, but the Major General was not a good commander, whereas the Baron ultimately took his duty very seriously. And so ultimately he saw that it was the right thing to do to follow up on the report of there was a grievance filed against the Major General, and it was his duty to follow up on it. So he was the one who asked to get the psych eval of the Major General.
Did he ever
Who do you
mention
think
to
killed? What?
Did he ever mention to you who was in his ear allowing for the change of heart?
The Major General was often very close with the troops. He likely saw all of his men being transferred from the Major General's divisions to his own, and they would likely all talk and tell stories of how the Major General was hated and a terrible leader. So he likely heard it from, these people who refused to serve the Major General after the incident. After you hear, the worst things about your best friend enough times, I think it finally sets in.
Who do you think committed the murder?
I think the Explorer was always a bit of a loose cannon, and I saw them arguing earlier tonight.
Everyone always says that the Explorer is a loose cannon. But when I talked to her, she didn't seem too loose. Is there any way that you can elaborate on what caused her to be a loose cannon?
Well, during the war, she would disappear for months at times and come back with a bunch of seemingly impossible to gather intelligence. Details of the commander's movements, intimate details. She could have had details on the color of the commander's underwear. And, it's when you're getting that detailed of information, there is valid reason to doubt the integrity and accuracy of those reports. And when she's gone for months at a time with no supervision, people start to talk.
So what you're saying is she was too good at her job and you didn't appreciate the detailed information and rumor and gossip took it over. That's what I'm gathering from this.
I have a question. Was she suspected to be a double agent?
I actually want to see a reaction from that, but cool.
I do believe that I do know there was an inquiry of the explorer sometime after the incident, and one time when she returned to camp, she was hauled in front of the High Command Inquisition Board, and they found that her service was not up to the standards that they expected, and she was let go.
Did you invite the explorer to the party?
Husband. I did invite the explorer.
Why?
She and the Baron have been friends after the war, and they've seemingly buried the hatchet, so she's a regular guest at the parties these days.
Understood.
Can I ask?
Baron... Sorry.
You go.
The Baron asked for her psyche valve, and now they've made up.
He did at the time, but yes, they have made up since the dishonorable discharge of the explorer.
Do they spend a lot of time together?
She helps to guide the Baron on his hunts. He is a little bit slower in the saddle, and that explorer is incredibly apt at finding prey in the forest. So
have
they
you
often
ever
hunt
suspected
together.
an affair between them?
Certainly not. She is
How?
First and foremost, she is a lone wolf all her life. Refused to work with anyone. She was always scouting alone as well.
Oh, how often would she be with the Baron in these hunts?
How often would she be with the Baron? Well, this is after the war now. She would be with the Baron, maybe once or twice a month. They would go out for a 3 or 4 day hunt. And they would come back with a large venison with the cook, and they would all have we prepare a giant venison steak or a feast out of what they caught.
Did you say the cook went with them, or they brought it to the cook?
The cook typically would go out with them. He would always have an eye for the best forage.
Can I ask?
And it's always nice to have a cook who can prepare a nice meal camping. I happen to know that the explorer would be happy with bugs and guts, so obviously she having a very refined cook along with them makes camping a little bit more savory.
Can I ask, did anybody else know about your affair with the Major General?
I don't believe so.
And do you have any suspicion that your husband found out?
If he knew, I doubt we would still be married.
Does he act any differently now to you?
No, he was, even tonight, a brightness set across his face as he saw the Major General walk in. But that was a surprise to me, so while he may have been happy, I was kind of aghast.
He was aghast.
Sorry, the Baron was happy to see the Major General. I was not.
Okay, 2 questions. Who were you talking to just before the Major General got called up to the stage? And who decides who the winners are for this, for the best dress attire?
All night long, votes are tallied of who's the most elegant dancer, and there were other activities. It's mostly up to random chance, but it's usually the life of the party, the delight of the ball is typically the winner. I was kind of surprised it wasn't me. I like to think of myself as an excellent party host, and I feel cheated somehow.
Do you not find it surprising that the Major General, a person that is not well liked, was chosen? Could there be any nefarious?
Well, that is one of the reasons of the masquerade, my dear. Is it tries to make everyone more anonymous. So perhaps not everyone knew the Major General at the party, or not everyone knew of his past.
To my other question, who were you talking to before they got called up?
Oh, I was just milling about with other guests, trying to butter them up and garner a few last-minute votes.
Anyone in particular we can chase up?
I don't believe so. Certainly not any of the other suspects.
No alibi. Interesting.
Do you have any further questions, friends and comrades?
No, but I've got to take a break, so I'll be back in a minute.
Yeah, we can take a break too. It's about that
But
time.
everyone's going to take a break? Okay.
Yeah, we can do a
more
party break. We only got 3 more people to talk to, guys, just as a quick recap. So, good job.
Yeah.
Halfway through.
Oh, one moment. Too much wine.
I think
money's on the Baron so
I think
far.
all we need to talk to is one more person.
How much has
I
Renok
think-
had to drink?
I think the Countess,
You think the Countess? Okay.
but I think
I think the Baron. He
I
found
think
out
the
something.
Countess for the same reason you're thinking the Baron, but
I think it's a combo buzzkill.
Could be.
I think the Baron's responsible but didn't do it because it had to be a lady,
Exactly.
and so the waitress was
Exactly.
basically paid off to do it and was blackmailed twice.
Exactly.
I'm stuck on the doctor, honestly.
You stuck on the doctor? Yeah, he's pretty dodgy too.
She actually. It looks like a he, but it's a
She.
Is it a she? The doctor?
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a
Yeah.
he.
She,
Maybe the
I don't
doctor
know,
was banging the
precision,
Baron.
you know?
Chef,
And we don't even know yet.
Chef. Oh shit, Chef.
And then I swore to never harm someone directly.
Yeah, that was
I don't know.
like, yeah, I bet you
Chef.
are, buddy.
Yeah, I want to hear from the cook first.
Chef, you've been sending the pictures to my DM instead of the group.
Yeah, we haven't been
Oh
seeing
yeah, I
them.
wondered where
God damn
where
it.
these pictures were going.
I'm gonna
He was
hop off
saying
for a
about pictures
Take
and
a
then they're
quick
not.
Oh, it's only just the Countess and the
Baron.
Baroness.
Yes. The Explorer and the Baroness. That's it.
I think we need to be asking who do they think it was more often. Should ask that to the other two.
So we're basically playing Cluedo.
I hope you're enjoying this. I know it's.
Oh, this guy just died.
Yeah, I just saw that. That was weird.
Having a good time with it.
I have made more room for more wine. Excuse me.
Can I put my dice away? I'm guessing this whole thing is no dice rolls, right?
Oh, that's what I wanted to do. Since it's over, chef. I'll do one more once everyone gets back.
I don't think we need any dice rolls. You know,
Yeah, I noticed that like after the first one, you kind of hesitated.
I was gonna ask.
and hopefully you think that's fair, right? Like these guys
Yeah,
are
yeah, I
every
get
single
it.
every
This is
they're
all
lying
story.
about everything.
So-
You can't
no,
tell
This is all
what's true or
story.
false.
Yeah.
My thought is something's going on in the background. I want to make just a check to see if anything's weirdly going on while we're doing this. Just have a little gander. But I assume everything's kosher right now.
The only kind of perception check that I'd written in is if someone tried to figure out what happened to the bodies after, you know, where did the fox go and where did the actual corpse go?
Mm.
I do feel like I kind of rushed my intro earlier. Should have just taken my time with it. Well, I say, Mesh. Do you think we have any leads on who it could be?
I'm leaning towards the waitress doing the deed and the Baron ordering it.
Oh, well. Suppose we should go talk to her next then. We got the waitress. Who we got left to talk to?
Okay, chef. This is a overarching question. You said the corpse cannot lie. But would it be a lie if it was something he didn't know? Would he be so truthful that it overcomes something he knows? Something he doesn't know? When he was alive?
I think we just gotta talk with
In the setting of the game, the corpse won't lie about anything that the actor knows about.
The
So,
actor knows. Okay.
Basically,
So
if you ask him like yes or no questions about, anything that his character knows, he'll answer truthfully about it.
yeah, but if it's something he didn't know,
Meh.
like somebody else's affair, then he can't answer that truthfully.
Mesh,
Yeah,
you
if he
start-
doesn't know things, yes, he will
Yeah.
know those things.
You start interrogating the poor guy, and he just stops all the pretense and turns like a Rasputin. Sir, it's just my first day. I didn't mean to. I don't know what's going on. Who did it?
That would be something you would do with like just lifting him up. Was it you?
Okay. Can I be blunt? There's been a number of times I just wanted to do something and I've restrained myself because like, no, we have a mystery. Let's just get on with it. It's like your line of who did it. I was kind of just pointing as long as it was you. But no, we have a mystery to solve, guys.
There's
The
been a
Scooby Gang.
murder.
The Scooby Gang is on the
Yeah.
case.
So actually, since assuming in game we're taking a break. So Camilla, how are you? How are you feeling?
Oh, excellent. This is a lot of fun. Except
Yeah.
for that countess lady. I feel like she's trying to upstage me, and that bothers me.
No, I was referring to, you know,
Yes, I feel great. Oh yes, from what I went up to the kitchen and I got something to eat. And after I had something to eat, now I feel amazing.
something.
We were already in the kitchen and you went
not-
upstairs, so that's a lie.
Not someone, right?
No,
Yes,
I
yes,
went down with
yes.
you all and then I left
didn't say.
you.
And then you said you went up to the kitchen, but we were already in the kitchen, so I don't know.
I was in the kitchen. I fell asleep in the kitchen. I went downstairs with you all.
Not the
Woke
kitchen,
up.
the dining hall.
Yeah,
Oh, I am very sorry. I went up to the dining hall. Potato,
No, that's-
potato.
as long as you're.
I don't know why you're suspecting me. I didn't murder her.
Did you?
They did. It was interesting that they
you?
kept on saying it's wine. Didn't they say it's like wine when they were stabbing the corpse?
You did not have an affair with the Baron.
I have had an affair with nobody.
I really thought that was going somewhere else.
Who is this nobody? Where is he?
Wait.
I have had a history with people that causes me to not really want to even indulge in anything like that. Plus, nobody's on my level anyways.
Nobody keeps coming up.
This strayed very far away from my initial line of questioning, but
I'm feeling
as long as
great.
You're okay. Okay, as long
Thank you
as
for
you're
the
okay.
concern.
That's, well, you know, yes.
Oboe music. Whole other question.
I just grabbed. A guy walks by without even looking at him. Just grab 2 wines. Here you go.
Oh, thank you very much.
He's pebbling.
Yes.
To help me feel better.
Renok is
This
very
is
unsure.
quite fun, though. I really enjoy doing the questioning.
Yes, it is quite enjoyable. To be honest with you, just want to eat. I haven't had anything since the last time I had something. You know.
I mean,
Well, there's a
that,
table
that,
over there.
that applies to everybody at all times, anywhere.
There is food
yeah, you should
abundant
understand.
in this room, by the way. A steady stream of
I'd like to look
waiters
down
with
at the
trays.
table.
Yeah. Yes, but wait, we're in the middle of something. I can't just.
We're not now. Go eat.
The figs are delicious, by the way. Fucking figs.
I grab an empty tray from one of the people serving the wines, put all the food in, come back, stand next to you like, okay.
There you go. Now you can question while eating. Do not
Okay.
smack your lips like that. I will smack your face off.
What? I assume because of the height difference, you just hit me in like, I don't know, my side. Like, why
I'm
did you do that?
You're way taller than me, but I'm not. I'm quite tall for a human. I'm 6'3".
Oh,
6.9.
Yeah. So
I-
you're still way taller than me, but I can reach your face just fine.
oh, I'm sorry. You're right. And I put the tray next to you. Do you want some?
No. Did you see what happened last time I put food in my mouth?
All right, children, let's
And I
go
ju-
finish this game.
That was last time.
2 times in a row, 2 strikes, you're out. I think that's how it goes.
More sausage for me then.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right,
I'm enjoying the
ugly,
wine.
tiny, let's go.
Who's
Almost
ugly
forgot
and
about
who's
Kazoo.
tiny?
I think I'm the ugly one.
Well, I'm definitely not
So
tiny.
you just
Quite
dismissed the Countess. Who did you want to talk
yes.
to next?
Perhaps
The Baron?
waitress.
You can talk to the
Whoa,
Baron
whoa,
or the
whoa.
cook, I think. Or the waitress.
Waitress or Baron. Either of them.
All right, maybe we should vote. Vote in chat.
Wait for what?
Waitress.
Chef.
Or not.
Waitress.
What are we voting for?
We are
Who
voting for the
Talk
cook.
Next.
Who to talk to next?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd like to talk to the waitress or the cook.
You only get one vote, not two.
Oh,
Renok, what do you want?
interesting.
Yeah,
I want,
chef is
I
voting.
want the
Renok.
waitress.
Two
wait,
for
do
the
I have to
waitress.
vote?
Camilla,
just
what would
say
you
it out
like?
loud?
I was the first to vote. I said the Baron.
And Graham, who would you like to see?
Wow, the waitress. Let's go talk to her next.
How someone looks doesn't have anything to do with whether they're a murderer.
Waitress. It'd be good to go to the waitress first and then search
She's
for.
an
That's
AI.
three people for the
Yeah,
waitress.
that's on the
Let's
other
go.
two.
I think so, but that's fine.
They're all AI.
Why does the cook look like a fucking?
Did you notice? Did you notice the red wine in the? Oh yeah, he's got two knives.
What?
But you know that's the nice thing. Since they're AI, we don't feel like we're cheating anyone. Also, why is there a
The
knife
wine
hanging
glass
from
is
The waitress
weird.
looks like a
She's
chainsaw
holding,
massacre
like,
mixed with like a
Well,
waitress.
you gotta admit, it's a good mask.
It is a
It
good mask.
definitely looks like someone who's gonna commit murders, dubious murders in the same
Did you
day.
do you see? Wait, there's three. There's like a
I-
wine glass on top of a wine glass on top of a
Yeah.
wine glass.
Yeah.
I would like that wine glass to drink my wine glass while I wine
Yeah,
glass.
that
notice
looks
that the-
really,
Did you notice that the
really
wine
fucking
bottle on the
weird.
table has a candle
So-
inside of it and it's corked?
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah.
That shouldn't be lit.
That's the thing with
Yeah,
AI
the waitress
generated.
was definitely the most scuffed. But
Hey,
there's
but
also
she
not
had-
a
I
whole
have
lot of.
pictures of
Yeah.
wild.
What? Why does the Baron look like the Gold Ranger for like what was it? Super Sentai?
The cook looks like he's cutting a pig with a pair of tongs.
Yeah, because of the.
Yeah, I see it.
knife.
And then
It's meant to be the theme of the character, not necessarily.
I know.
a
It's
perfect
just so
representation.
funny. I'm not
But he
talking about
does-
this to do anything else, but also the cuts of meat look like they're hanging right next to the instruments. It's
He
hilarious.
does have fabulous hair, though. I do appreciate that.
It's like
Yeah, why
Jeff
is that
or
meat hanging up like that next to the
Cari.
mixed up, and then one cut of meat not
It's
hanging.
been
with
trained,
anything.
Cari.
It's just there. He's
The
cut up
Baron
the
actually
meat.
looks like the most legit. It's like a Power Ranger mixed with like a masquerade party.
It was very hit or
Yeah.
miss on getting all these characters with masquerade masks. The chef and
The
waitress were
Explorer just got
especially
goggles
difficult.
for steampunk.
They have
Wait a
lots of
minute.
data of
Is she-
boobs. That's why.
Is she wearing the? Oh, I don't like that. Because her eyes are up here.
Cause men.
I'm not wrong. Anyway, perhaps we should interrogate / speak to the waitress. Was it? Yes. Let's go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was the official vote count?
Waitress was 3.
One
Maefyre
assault.
and I both voted
Okay.
for. Well, Maefyre voted for cook and for waitress, and I voted for the cook,
Well,
and Camilla was the Baron.
I settled on waitress.
Okay, so then that's 5-2.
Ha 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 ha.
I could only have
4-2,
one
excuse
vote.
me.
Yes,
Rather,
let's
it
still
was
talk to
4-1-1.
So you approach the waitress and she has just like a prop of a tray, and Renok, you go to take the wine glass and she says, "This is, sorry sir, this is just this is reserved for someone else."
Is that person me?
Unfortunately, no.
Okay, I'll put it back.
You working on your
Is
ribs?
there anything I can help you with
I
tonight?
just want the wine. I'm thirsty.
Did you notice anything strange this evening?
I did. The Countess, normally the life of the party who drinks excessively, has not had a drop to drink tonight.
That is odd.
What's your relationship to everyone else here?
Well, during the war, I was hold on, let me scroll back to it. During the war, I was, did I not answer that?
There was a person.
I was serving as in the kitchens as cleaning dishes. I know I've heard of the Major General because he was You know, one of the high command, and you know, people talk all the time about how terrible he was. The same with kind of the Baron. You know, I would just hear from all of the men, all of the soldiers talking. I just hear all their stories. But I didn't know many of these people face to face. I think the doctor was at the camp too, but...
What other kinds of things did you hear?
Well, towards the end, you know, the big gossip was always about how everyone didn't want to work with the Major General, how everyone was transferring into the Baron or to the other commanders after that incident with the lots of people dying.
Did you hear anything about the injury that the Baron sustained?
Yeah, you know, the soldiers all thought he was a war hero, you know, taking a bullet for the cause and everything. But I happen to know that he hadn't ever left the base when that happened. So however it happened, it was at the base, which significantly, you know, changes the tone of this war hero.
Was there a shooting range on the base?
There was.
Did you hear if the injury was self-inflicted or if it was another?
I did not. You know, a lot of what the men hear is what the commanders tell them. So, you know, all we really heard was that it was an injury. And then, you know, we saw the man being rushed through the camp on a gurney. I suppose it could have been at the firing range, but, you know, everyone kind of just notices the blood at these types of things.
Can you tell me the process of how you invite people to the parties?
Oh, I don't invite people.
Yeah.
The guest list, the cook signs off on it, puts together a purchase order, and I'll go and buy all the ingredients. And then I need to I mail all the invitations out.
How do you know the cook?
He's the cook and I'm the waitress. We work together.
Why did you invite the general?
I did not invite the general.
Did you send out an invitation for him?
I did send out an invitation to him. He was on the guest list.
The
Do you
Countess?
So
Is that what she
the
said?
guest list
She
we
said
got
that
from the cook.
he was not on the list when she sent it out.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're saying that his name was?
Someone put it on. It wasn't the Countess.
You received those letters from the cook to go send out, correct?
The cook does get them before I do, but you know, he just circles a bunch of names and tells if they're vegetarian or not. You know, he flips that thing over and just looks at all of their meal preferences. So
The
neither of us
handwriting
make any changes to this.
And then the invitations are sent by you.
Yep, a list of names, list of addresses, send
That's
out
it.
them.
Do you have a relationship with the cook at all?
We work together.
Nothing more than work buddies?
What are you insinuating?
I lean into Camilla. Maybe we should keep this one in the hat for a change.
Too
until we
late
have more
now.
information.
Why do we need to keep it in the hat?
I don't know. I don't want it to lie.
Well, I mean, she already has so far.
You notice
The
anything?
explorer lady mentioned that she saw you two going at it tonight.
Oh, did she? Well,
Yeah.
she's
An
always been
argument, perhaps?
With your
certainly
lips.
not an argument. You know, Me
Okay,
and the
why didn't
cook,
you tell me?
it's really none of your business, but me and the cook
It is when I'm
have been.
investigating a murder.
I don't see how my relationship with the cook is relevant to the case, but yes, we have
If he
been
was a
starting to
suspect,
see
it
each
is
other
relevant.
recently.
If he was a suspect, it is relevant.
Any more information related to the case?
The fact that you
is-
lied to me, makes me a little bit more.
A
Well,
reason?
you asked how I knew him. We worked together, and now we work a little bit more closely together. I'm sorry if you felt I was lying.
How recent?
How recent? Oh. He had been working at the manor for a while, and I was a bit down on my luck, and he reached out to, or I reached out to, everyone who I'd worked with in the war. He was the cook back then too, and I was the one washing his dishes, so I asked if he needed any help, and he said he could talk to the Countess and see if there was a position. And I, got a job here maybe a few years back. And, I've been working with my old friend in the kitchens ever since. Less dishwashing, a little bit more, housework, but it's a good position.
Did the cook ever talk to you about his expeditions with the Baron and the Explorer?
The hunts.
The hunts.
Thank you.
Usually he just talks about the food they bring back. They'll bring back a big venison or a bear or some other large game animal, and he'll be talking about all the different ways to prepare it. He really is a phenomenal cook. That's
Just say he has a skilled hand.
Yeah, I want.
Go ahead, Jodie.
What was that, ma'am?
I was just gonna ask if the waitress learned worked under the cook, like learning that food preparation, for example, how to prepare a venison, how to prepare steaks, and such.
I tend not to cook. The man is a master, why would you mess up a masterpiece?
Well, maybe you wanted to learn from the master. That's what I'm wondering.
I have picked up bits and bobs here and there, but mostly about, fixing presentation and making sure everything looks perfect. So, he does the most of the work, and then I'll, put an eyebrow on the Mona Lisa here.
Okay. Involving cuts of meat?
Yes, we typically serve meat.
Okay.
Would you say that the cook is a very skilled person, not only with a how would you say this, a blade for cutting the meats for presentation, but also in butchering and in self-defense?
Well, everyone in the army, especially if you're stationed at the command camp, goes through the basic training. And everyone in the command camp gets trained how to use sabers and blades. So, even I know how to, wield a sword. Just enough to get through a parade and procession and do all the pomp and circumstance bits and bobs. But the knife skills of the cook are, beyond pale.
Could you defend yourself in a pinch?
I think all people could defend themselves in a pinch. I would likely be more. I'd be more keen on running away, and I wasn't a soldier in the war. I was cleaning dishes.
Does he do butcheries as well?
She thinks she can defend herself in a pinch. I cast Thunder with no.
That's fun, though.
Sorry, what was the question though? I think Rob.
I forgot.
Okay. No, you said something about
Butchery.
I asked him if
butcher.
I asked her if the cook does butcher his own meats as well.
That man can take a living beat creature to a lamb roast in under 8 hours flat, and that's 7 hours of cooking. So he could he's efficient at what he does. Very farm to table, if you know what I mean.
This is an above board thing. I'm guessing that firearms aren't a thing, so when they refer to a misfire on the shooting range, this is probably a bow and arrow or a crossbow, correct?
Well, it's kind of same world where there's like muskets.
Okay.
So yeah.
Would you say the cook can fire a musket? or a gunpowder weapon in defense. Was that part of the basic training or not?
You go to a range and you shoot at targets, but I've always felt that there's a difference between shooting a target and shooting a person. And I've just never really.
Yeah, one
had
of
the
them
guts for
dies,
that.
actually. That's the funny part.
The cook, I know he'll shoot animals, but I also don't know his personal motivations for joining the army or the war. But he was kind of at least like me in the sense that he didn't leave the base. So
Would you say that he's a
The
good
base.
shot?
Okay.
I don't know. I haven't been with him on many hunts, and I didn't go through training with him, so I don't know how good of a shot he is.
The Major General didn't leave the base either, did he?
Major General did not leave the base.
Is there anyone else that fits that same description besides the cook?
I suppose the Baron.
Yourself?
I think the Countess was a secretary at the time.
But she would be leaving likely to file the reports, correct? From the base.
She would just prepare the reports and file them away. She just stayed in the command room all the time. So she didn't have a reason to leave the base either. The base was surrounded by jungles. It was very inhospitable. You needed to be a madman or a soldier to be ordered out of that base.
Is there anyone here at this party that you don't like?
It's a long way to climb from a secretary to a countess. Seems odd.
She married up, that's for sure. But she's an incredibly good socialite. She throws incredible parties.
Speaking.
After the incident at the camp, the morale was abysmal and the men were talking about deserting constantly. She threw that New Year's party that, pretty much saved the sanity of the troops and kept them fighting until we could win.
Speaking of the New Year's party, did you see anything interesting or strange in that party?
I did see the Countess and the Major General disappear that night.
Anybody you told this to?
It was war. Lots of people were looking for company and friends, and people disappeared all the time into the edge of the jungle. So
What about the doctor?
the doctor. What do I know about the doctor?
What do you know about the doctor?
I know he was the camp surgeon in the war, and he fixed up the Baron after he got shot. We saw them running through the camp with a.
Is the Baron
Trail of blood
is
going
the
everywhere.
is the doctor a he or she? Because I've written down as a she.
She.
Okay.
Sorry.
No worries.
The Countess mentioned that you and the cook are good friends with the Baron. Would you consider yourself a good friend with the Baron?
Well, the cook is excellent at winning the hearts of every soldier through their stomachs. He was a miracle worker who turned military rations into high cuisine. At the New Year party, he was the only one sober because he was preparing enough food for the entire base. So, obviously, if you know a good chef in life and you're of means like the Baron, it makes sense. He would continue to be employed. And so, I was a little bit surprised when I found that he was working for the Baron, but, a job is a job.
Last question for me is that is there anyone here that you don't like? Say maybe the Explorer's a little bit disgruntled, or maybe the Major General's very difficult to get along with. as an example?
I've been now waitressing and serving people at these parties for years. People get a little bit boisterous, but it's nothing I can't handle. I've dealt with the, drunken children, and it's, I've been thrown up on. I've been, all sorts of abuse at this point in my career, and I can take just about anything with a smile and, head back to the kitchen, dust myself off, and come back out with another table of, with another tray of drinks. So, that's my responsibility. I don't particularly hate anyone. I just wish they wouldn't drink as much. And she stares at Renok.
I'm not drunk.
For the sake of this game, I hope they keep drinking. Give her a wink. Some people like to figure things out more than they like alcohol. Well, friends, are we done here?
Who do you think killed the guy?
The guy. The legend.
Major General.
I think it was the Countess. If that affair ever came to light, it would probably result in us no longer having a Countess.
Certainly has strong motive.
Do you think the Baron found out? And maybe he did it?
I don't know. I know the Baron talked a lot with the soldiers, and the soldiers spread rumors like wildfires. Perhaps he heard of it, but I don't know.
Soldiers spread rumors.
The biggest lead right now is who put the Major General's name on the list, and that's between the Countess, the cook, and you.
And the Baron.
Unless the Baron told one of you to do it.
Then let me ask you, if say that did come to light and something were to happen to either the Countess or to the Baron, what would happen to you? Would you still be employed here? Would you be asked to leave?
Well, I'm kind of hopeful that this relationship with the cook goes someplace, and he'll land on his feet, which hopefully means I'll land on my feet as well. So,
Okay.
kind of tying my horse to his wagon if anything, bad happened to the Baron and Countess.
I really hope for your sake that the cook didn't do it.
I hope not. Why would you think he did it?
Well, if someone as high status as the Countess wants to get something done, do you think she would be able to dirty her hands or has the skill enough to do the deed? Probably not.
Well, as I said, everyone in the command camp learned how to use a blade. That includes the secretary.
We have reason to believe that you're going to need to be a bit stronger than that.
They were all in the war. I believe that. I'm not saying I believe she's 100% innocent, but I do believe everyone knows how to use a blade.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Who shall we talk to next?
The Baron.
I was thinking we'd leave him to last, but perhaps we should rather than the cook.
How about you, Maefyre? Who would you like to talk to next? The Baron or the cook?
I don't mind. Sorry I haven't been that helpful. I'm kind of like
What? That's not true.
You've been
feeling
very
foggy. I've been foggy. I feel foggy and I feel
It's fine.
bamboozled.
It's a lot of information. It's all good.
You
Yeah.
can talk to the Baron cook. A different.
Stop
I'm
Okay.
leaning towards the cook because the chain of the list being altered is between the cook and the...
The only reason I want to talk to the cook before the Baron is because we can talk to the most important person in the manor with the most information last.
We can always
Mhm.
talk to the victim
that makes
once
sense.
more after we talk to everyone. And don't forget, when we first talked to him, he said that. Let me see if I can.
We also got to keep in
Whatever
mind
it
that one
was,
person
it
is
was
lying.
It was something that happened during the
Right.
war.
So we ask the Baron if he put the Major General on the list.
Yeah.
If he says
Well, I'm
yes,
thinking-
then the Countess was lying to try and cover her tracks.
Yeah.
If
Here's the
he
thing.
says no,
Here's the thing that's wrong with that logic. He said the guilty party could lie to cover their tracks, but that doesn't mean the non-guilty party wouldn't lie to cover up somebody they're affiliated with.
Also,
Yeah.
the incidences that happened at the war are the shooting of the leg, the murder of the 40,000,
people.
the yeeting of the explorer
40,000?
lady.
Was it just not 40 people?
Oh, sorry, 40 people.
Okay.
My bad. The yeeting of the
Ugh.
explorer lady, I think,
40,000.
right? So those are
40,000.
three.
Jesus.
Okay, let's
Three.
hold
Yeah.
off, guys, just above the table. Hold off on speculation until we get all the info. Let's talk
Right,
to
that's
somebody.
what I'm trying to say. These are, if it was an incident that happened in the war, there's 3 incidences that I can think of.
There's only one incident, Cari. It's the one where the
there's
40
3
people
incidents.
died. That's the incident.
Okay, verbiage. There was 40 people dying.
Yeah.
Somebody shot the Baron in the leg.
Or a misfire from himself. We don't know what happened there.
Somebody convinced the Baron to get rid of the Explorer.
Mm-hmm.
We
So
also
those
have that there was
really-
a psych ward was like, or a psych
Yeah, but the
eval
Baron
for
was
the
the one that wanted the psych ward.
Major.
So the psych ward thing goes up to the Baron, and no one killed the Baron.
Yeah,
So
let's talk with the cook first, then we'll do full
Yeah.
ammunition going into the Baron. Sound good?
Let's talk with Chef with his normal voice.
Ooh, Cari, you okay?
Whoa!
All right,
Back
chef.
over my fan.
Pretend to be the chef.
You gonna talk to the chef?
Yeah.
To the chef.
You walk up to him and he's like slicing a roast
Person open.
pig and serving it to people.
Wait, what?
I'm
At
just
the,
kidding, I'm just
at the same time?
So
I mean, he does
really-
know
has, he
anatomy.
been, has he been like serving this whole time?
Is he cutting the
So-
same prop over and over again in the same spot?
Yeah, it's more like that.
With his
like
2 knives.
I'm
With his
gonna put, like,
tongs.
how do you keep your hair so fabulous? No, okay.
What?
Fish oil.
Okay.
The blood
I
of my
don't wash
victims.
it.
The blood of my victims.
I jest. But my sincere question is that, well, we want to inquire, why was the Major General's name on the invitation list?
I don't know.
I'm sorry, that's such a long pause. Just I don't know.
Let's
Did
start
you
with
like
hello,
what?
how are
Or do
you, and how do you know everyone, and then we'll get to that.
Well,
Well,
Hi, how are you?
Was
frankly,
it?
I don't care who shows up to the party. I just make sure they all can eat. So the Countess usually fills out the menu and puts everyone's meal preferences on the back. So as soon as I get the guest list, I flip it over and start to put an order together of all the food, and then I give it to the waitress who will help get it all the invitations mailed out.
The Countess put the Major General's name on the list.
Like I said, I don't know.
But what was the list?
I didn't
given
read the
to you
list.
by
I read
her?
all of their preferences.
Right.
If you want,
Read the names, you just read the food preferences.
Yep.
Who handed you the list?
The Countess dropped it off herself.
Okay. Okay.
Excellent.
Someone else
Huh?
ask a question.
Let's ask about the
How
hunts.
many-
Yeah.
How many food preferences were in the list in total? How many guests?
183, 90 vegetarian, 40 meat eaters,
183.
How many blood
and
drinkers?
6 allergies, 4 nut allergies, and 2 shellfish.
Good God.
So largely
You are a
inconsequential
good
for our tasks today.
You are good friends with the Baron. You go hunting with him often.
I am probably more utility than anything else. I wouldn't say we're good friends, but I make good food and keeps his stomach happy.
Oh, he does seem to enjoy your workmanship.
Can you tell us about how you're
Take my
involved
work
in the
very
war?
seriously.
We've been informed that you often go on hunting excursions with the Explorer and the Baron.
Yeah, like I said, the Explorer will trap a small game, and I'll prepare that for the meals as we go along. If she had her way, she would probably be drinking tea and leaves, or just tea made from leaves or some other barbaric food. So obviously not fit for the Baron, and so I make him heartier meals out of whatever she is able to catch for us.
On these excursions, would you describe her actions as a loose cannon?
She is a wily sort. I've seen her go toe to toe with a mother grizzly bear with nothing but a machete and escape mostly unscathed. So
she's good with a knife, a blade.
Makes sense.
Okay.
But yeah, she can put a shot through a venison's neck from 150 meters without it batting an eye.
Would you say she's very good at her job? Is gathering intelligence as well? Or probably more on the combat side?
I don't know so much about the intelligence gathering. I just usually see her in the hunting setting, so she's excellent.
Seems quite adept with a knife and a weapon.
Yes. Damn it.
In a pinch, yeah, she could skin an animal if she needed to. She'd probably be freezing to death and needed to skin a polar bear or something like that, but yeah, you'd see her with a polar jacket if it was necessary for her to survive.
What would you say her relationship with the Baron is like?
I know they have some history, but mostly in the war I kept my head down and did my job.
Even in the hunts? Nothing specific?
We'll bring a bottle of wine and we'll reminisce about old times, but we lived 3 very different lives during the war, so not a lot of overlap between us, which those times were rough on a lot of people, so it's usually better that we didn't directly interact with each other too much then. So we get along just fine. Just 3 veterans.
Was the general on the list of invitation people to invite when you got it?
I don't know. I flipped the thing over and immediately put together the food order. I don't look at the guest list. I don't care too much. I usually don't even interact with anyone up here.
So why are you here?
They found me with a steak knife.
Who found you?
One of the guards.
Silver?
Is there anyone here you don't like?
Someone sent their food back tonight, and I claimed their steak was chewy, so I was heading up to bring them a steak knife. To demonstrate that I had not made any mistakes with any of the food. But
who was it?
Oh, I don't know. I was gonna go and find the pest.
Who do you think committed the murder?
I don't know. I was in the kitchens. Wasn't paying attention to any of this. Just happened to be caught in the hallways with the knife, which I guess was a little bit more suspicious than it should have been. But surely it's not suspicious for a chef to have a knife.
No, but not to have a knife, but to be walking around with it somewhere, yeah, it is. That's not the kitchen. It is kind of suspicious, yeah.
Like I said, not much ruffles my feathers, but when someone insults my cooking, I need to hold them accountable.
Who knows this we'll call it perfectionist side of you?
Anyone who sends their food back, I suppose.
So the Baroness, the Baron, and the Countess would know. that you'll be aware that you would prefer having your food done perfectly.
I would never mess up anyone's food. Only people who send food back are people who don't understand food. So I've never had an issue with the Baroness or the Count, or the Baroness or the Baron.
Tell us about your relationship with the waitress.
We worked together. She reached out to me a few years back, asking if I had any opportunities. We had just let one of the kitchen staff went away to school, and so we had a position, and so we hired her on. We let the one girl go, and she asked for a job 3 or 4 days later, so it was just fortunate timing.
Going back
We
and...
spoke to the wait. Oh,
Go ahead.
can I-
No, you're fine.
We spoke to the waitress, and she claims that your relationship was maybe a little more intimate.
Lately, yeah, we have been exploring the more intimate side of our relationship.
Well, why didn't you mention that just now when you was asked about the waitress?
I don't usually introduce myself with telling people about my sexual partners, do you?
No, but we're investigating a murder and everyone's relationship to each other, and I think that's pretty pertinent to this. Especially when you was asked directly, and you omitted that. It's a lie by omission.
I suppose. Sorry for not sharing the whole picture, but yes, we are. We worked together in the army at the war. We didn't keep in contact for years. She reached out to me. She's now worked here a few years. We spend so much time together. I think it's just naturally evolved.
What do you think
I
did
would
it?
like to...
Sorry, Cari. I forgot you were
I would
next.
like to go back in time a bit. Do you remember the shooting accident on the grounds after the whole debacle?
All I remember, you're talking about the Baron being shot in his leg.
Yeah.
I remember him being carted across the base looking like a stuck pig.
Do you remember them saying who the culprit was, how it happened?
Don't know much more about that, unfortunately. I wasn't there. I was doing my job.
See the doctor with him when he was getting carted?
I think the doctor was in the surgery. I think it was a bunch of soldiers running him to the doctor's office.
Who told us that the doctor was with him?
Sorry, what was that?
Someone told us that the doctor was with him. I was just asking the group who told us that.
The doctor claimed he was with him. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know if we heard that they were with him being carted. They just said with. That could have been after or before.
Said they treated the Baron for his injury.
Mm-hmm. What was I gonna say? Now you've traveled and done hunting excursions with the Explorer. You said she's really good with machete. Is she a good shot?
Yes.
Okay.
You can put a shot 150 meters exactly where she wants it. She could take an acorn off a stump.
Going back to the New Year's party, do you remember anything interesting happening in that night?
We had to use up 3 weeks of rations in about 8 hours. That includes the alcohol rations, and the men needed something to bolster their spirits after a major loss. Explorer can tell you a little bit more about that. Why the spirits were so low. My job was to use all the food so that our quota remained the same for next year, despite losing, 40 soldiers a month earlier. The Countess was unchained at the party, and I cooked 3 works of military rations into a feast for the entire base. stone sober, and then I slept for the next 48 hours after the party was done.
I have a question. The incident regarding the soldiers that were killed, the 40 soldiers, did you know any of them?
I could probably tell you their meal preferences, but war is hard, and you know, it's not always good to know everyone really closely. You talk to people like your old friends, but you don't really know people. So I probably talked to those guys hundreds of times in the months leading up to that situation, but did I really know any of them? Just another, you know, they just became the faceless that I never saw or talked to again. And then the next batch of recruits was sent in.
Did you get along with anyone quite well?
Yeah.
I'd like to think I got along with most people quite well. You know, they ask special meals cooked a certain way, food a certain way. You know, you make a lot of friends when you're feeding them. And then I like to think I'm good at my job, and so, you know, the best way to make friends with people is through their stomachs, and, you know, probably made friends with everyone on base. That's what got me my job here, so I must be doing something right.
Who do you think did it?
I can tell you, you know, who prefers what, if they want their fork served on the left or the right of the plate. I can tell you how well done every person wants their meat, but can't tell you anything about the social dynamic of the people at these parties. I'm not part of that world.
Chamilla, you like your meat very rare, don't you? Nothing? All right.
Just hiding. I don't know if Cari caught that.
When you
I'm
were
sorry,
called,
I was like trying to check the.
Did you hear what Dallan said, Cari?
Because I was researching the fact that the Baron and the Doctor were once friends and they're at odds now, according to the.
Cari has nothing to do with that.
Huh? I wasn't. What?
I know you weren't paying attention because Dallan asked you how you liked your meat. You like it pretty rare, right?
Oh yeah. As Chamilla and as Cari.
Still didn't get the joke. Incredible.
Wait, because it's bloody. Chamilla likes blood. Isn't that the joke? See, I do get it.
Yeah, you got there.
Yeah, you got
I like rare because it tastes good. Chamilla likes it because of the blood.
Okay, we got there.
I would have responded differently had I heard him ask the question. It was a good question.
How long was it between the point that you were told that a person was returning their food and you wound up where you were when the murder happened?
I suppose about the same time. The guards grabbed me as I was on my way here, so.
Well, like a minute, half a minute?
Couldn't tell you. I don't know, didn't know when I think the murder took place, so I couldn't tell you how long I was away.
Okay then.
All right.
Thank you for your time. Your food is great.
Thank you very much, sir.
I feel like we're missing a very important question to be asking these people.
Yeah, what their names are.
I've been kind of deliberately not giving them names, just using their titles.
Yeah.
I know.
That would have just made it more confusing
Have
to give
I
them all names instead of
Cari
titles.
the Baroness.
Yeah, no.
Can I
no,
ask,
no.
out of all the people
And
that
Cari the cook.
I was a cook. Ha!
In the game or in real life?
It's Cari's maiden
That's
name.
my maiden name.
God damn it.
What was it?
Yeah, all right. I forgot.
Got him.
What? I didn't know that.
Yep.
Time to steal your identity.
Have any of the people that we have interviewed smelt like soft perfume?
I picture Camilla
A
just
lot of
like
the women.
floating
It was
behind
not
someone
too,
and being like,
deterministic here.
sniff.
Should I go into bat for her so I can smell better?
Fuck's sake. Can we just interview the last person, please?
Yeah.
Okay.
You will have remembered that whoever was in the Fox Max on the stage didn't mask the physical description or characteristics of
Right.
any of the suspects. So
Right.
That's not part of it, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, on to the Baron.
Baron.
Yes. No, I got it right, Baron.
I have the snackies.
The Baron.
Okay, so they did that deliberately then. The
Sorry.
person that they just didn't. Yeah.
You can't eat that. That's not corn. All right.
Mr. Baron.
good evening. Hopefully these unsightly events aren't taking away from the grandeur of the evening.
What really took away from my evening was the
Oh.
fact that the Countess was sleeping once with the Major General one time. That was really crazy, wasn't it?
His face goes, grumpy pretty immediately. I did know that,
When?
but she does not.
She
know it
thinks
now.
you don't know that. When did you hear that?
Did you ask about the affair? I was gone.
Yeah, I opened with it. I don't care who you are.
Wait, hold up. What? I missed the beginning, but
Now
you
you're
told him.
now you're thinking how I'm thinking.
All right. To catch everyone up, Daddy went in for the jugular and is asking the question, and he's in a grumpy mood now. Proceed.
Okay, so he didn't. Yeah, because he didn't know.
Yeah.
He did not know.
We didn't.
Oh,
Let
but he
the
says
man
he does
speak.
know. So the question is, when did he find?
Oh, he says he does know. Sorry, I missed. That's the bit I missed. Sorry.
Mr. Baroness, when did you find out?
Baron, Mr.
One of
Mr.
my
Mr. Baron Esquire.
the Major General had some issues with his command, and a lot of the soldiers in his divisions were transferring to me after an incident with an unsightly mistake that he may have made. Allegedly. One of the soldiers that transferred to me reported that he drunkenly, at the New Year's party, he saw my future wife and him head off into the jungle. And there's only a few things that people do in the jungle at an army base in the dark, so I connected the dots a long time ago.
Was this after your injury or before? Or did your injury happen that
During.
night?
The firing range incident happened a little bit after that.
Do you know who shot you?
It was a ricochet at the range. I shot my gun, a bullet bounced back and went through my leg.
So it was you,
It was you.
that you assume.
That's what it seems like.
Mildly above board, 2 shots shot at the same time would sound the same, and 150
yeah.
yards is a long ass
Yeah.
way.
You
The,
have to time that so well to like.
the
he
doctor
shot his
would have-
gun and then you shot it, and then
Well,
and he said it ricocheted, so you'd see the way it ricocheted.
well, I was just at the firing range. There was lots of other soldiers in all of the different lanes. There was dividers between each of us, so you couldn't really see anyone. But so there were shots going off all around me. But
Now, the doctor.
it was best to
Worked
just
on
say
you.
that it was a ricochet from myself. Otherwise, one of the other men would have been court-martialed for something out of their control. So I asked the doctor to write it up as a self-inflicted gunshot wound, and he was reluctant, but ultimately did what I asked.
But he wrote it out
Is
like
there
that.
a
but you
reason why
think
all of
it
you
might
guys
not-
keep on calling her a he? Or is this a chef?
This is a chef
chef-
mistake, sorry.
I was like, maybe they thought it was a he all along, and this is a big reveal. Okay.
As soon as I'm off script, guys, I'm messing up. Sorry.
You're fine. I just
It's
wanted
okay.
to make sure I would do the same thing.
Were you surprised to see the general here at the party tonight?
I was. I haven't seen him in quite some time. You know, we were old friends, older than almost everyone else here. And
So you didn't.
hadn't seen him for a while and was generally surprised to see him.
Training
weren't the
camp
one who
buddies.
It was
invited him?
nice.
Were you the one who invited him?
Oh no, my the Countess, she handles all of the invites. She runs all of these things. I just mostly show up and drink.
Were you okay with her inviting him?
Of course.
Even though
we're
they,
old friends.
Even though they
Well, it
Trade
was
you?
before they were married. It was before they were together.
Even though they monkeyed around in the jungle.
We weren't officially together at the time. Everyone at the base knew we were a thing, but you know, if you don't have a claim to a woman, then I guess it's fair game. That night was wild for everyone. I've made my peace with it.
Tell us more about that night, please.
Well, that was the New Year's party. That was the wildest party we ever had at that base. You know, the soldiers were pretty low. They needed something to boost their spirits. I authorized, you know, the use of every last ration we had and, you know, drained all of the coffers and all of the favors I had with high command to try to get resources to make something happen. And, you know, the cook and the countess took it from there and made a miracle happen. You know, I don't like to say I single-handedly saved the war that night, but that was probably the closest to an individual night that shaped the future of the war.
You were tipped off by the Explorer about doing a psych eval on your good friend. We were told you had a change of heart and had decided that he needed to be looked into and released. Was it the Explorer who kind of convinced you?
The Explorer
motivated you?
filed a report that her reconnaissance reports had been ignored, and this disastrous mission proceeded against her direct recommendations, and she called the Major General incompetent in a few more words. A lot more four-letter words in her report of the incident.
According to the doctor, someone was gunning for her expulsion.
Well,
Do you believe that was...
well, the Major General retaliated once he found out who the report came from.
All right.
So,
What did he get her court-martialed, basically? 'Cause we didn't seem to find out what the actual reason for that was.
Well, he was retaliating.
he filed a counter claim to her report, claimed that he did nothing wrong and that she was actually more of the problem than he was.
What do you think?
At the time, I tried to be as impartial as I could. I had psych evals done for both of them, and then let the doctor make his case to high command. I gathered what evidence I could and presented all of the evidence to the high command, and then the decision was with them to make. They sided with the commander, which isn't super surprising, and quickly showed the scout, the explorer, the door here.
So how was the commander discharged?
Well, long after all these reports and all this nasty business with the Explorer settled, not a single soldier wanted to work with him still. You know, the soldiers talk, and they all knew this guy was now probably going to get them killed, and now he's got a bad track record. So he went from base to base until people found out about why he was transferred, and then You know, they forced him out of service basically by people just recognizing that, you know, he wasn't good at his job.
Why did he do
So,
it? Like,
it's less about. We were originally under the impression that you, as a neutral party, had discharged him.
That's not exactly what my investigation showed, and I may have been a little bit less impartial than I stated at the time.
Well, it was
Maybe-
the explorer who told us this, so that tracks.
Well, you know, and I've talked with her tonight, and you know, just seeing him here has reignited a lot of old passion. And yeah, she called me out, and you know, I've been reflecting on that more tonight than I have in a long time.
Yeah,
So-
because you seemed to make up with her afterwards, and now you're good hunting buddies. Or
Well,
were until tonight.
I like to think all veterans are. I'll try to take care of all of the veterans I can. You know, she was. You know, it's taken years to come to a lot of those conclusions, but she was a good soldier. All of her intelligence was always good when I worked with her. So,
Not
you know, despite.
exaggerated or extremely detailed.
Oh no, absolutely, incredibly detailed. She would,
Would you say
know,
that
be able
she's
to
a
pinpoint a
loose
frog
cannon?
on a log in a swamp 100 miles away if we asked her to.
Okay.
So
Is she reliable?
maybe a little bit inconsistent, but she delivered results. Certainly wouldn't be, you know, you don't give a person like that a timeline. You just get an answer when you can and then execute with that information quickly after.
Would you say her discharge was unfair?
At the time, you know, I mostly left that decision to high command to make. In retrospect, there's probably more I could have done to protect her.
Last question from me. You were once very close to the doctor, but in recent years you guys have been at odds. Could you explain perhaps why that is?
Again, we talk about the war every once in a while with a lot of these veterans, and you know, the doctor is a person who I've now known for just about as long as anyone else, and I you know, trust his assessments. He's very very disciplined in all things, and he was calling out some of these reports and this evidence, and he's been one of the reasons I've been more insightful these past few years, talking more with the Explorer and some of these other major generals, and trying to make apologies where I can, where I may have wronged them. So he is we are a bit at odds if there's something that he says that I don't agree with, but you know, it usually takes some time, but I usually come around to his way of thinking. He's surgical in all things, you know.
Would you say he would hurt someone if given, if necessary?
The doctor? I've seen him rip a bullet out of my leg. He's not a gentle person. He'll do what's necessary.
A couple questions about a couple things. First of all, is the what? It's not the adventurer, explorer. Is she a pacifist?
I don't think so. We go
Interesting.
hunting pretty regularly, and she puts
Interesting.
down plenty of animals.
So that was a lie. Perfect. And next, why have never mind. That's not important. Well, is it no? Why is your wife under the impression that you do not know about the affair? And it's not for the evening.
Well, like I said, I've run from a lot of things in my life. I've tried to be more insightful lately, and I still don't have a valid way to move forward with that conversation with her.
Cool.
Perhaps one day, but hopefully not tonight.
Who do you think did it?
I don't know. You know, hearing the doctor talked to me about all of his complaints about some of these people. You know, there were lots of people that disliked the Major General. It could have been a lot of people. I know the Explorer felt, you know, manipulated and you know, she was hurt by him, as was, you know, anyone who was in that division.
Do you think your wife would go to such lengths to remove the evidence if you were not to know by killing him this evening?
Oh gods, no. She can make spectacles. She doesn't cause spectacles, I suppose.
Who would you say here is some of the best with a knife or a sword?
Well, everyone here will be trained with a blade. Almost everyone who works in the manor is a veteran. If you're looking for people that are exceptionally skilled, you know, the cook and the doctor, I know they are impeccable at their crafts here.
Do you think anyone else in here could have been blackmailed?
Maybe the Major General. If anyone confronted him with the past.
Do you know why he sent those people to die? What possibly could have motivated him to do something so wretched?
I couldn't tell you. Never talked to them about that.
Was anyone here related to anyone that died in that valley?
Or just
None of
knew
those
anyone?
soldiers were in my command. I don't know.
Why
Did you
wouldn't
notice-
you talk to him about the 40 people dying?
There's in the war, there's a chain of command, and you know, you respect that and you follow that to the letter. He didn't report to me. I didn't report to him. We were peers, so you know, my duty is not to question any of his decisions. He has his autonomy, I have mine. We had our jobs to do. We were soldiers.
Even though he was warned not to do that? Why does nobody that knew him have a problem with what he did?
I do have a problem with what he did. Looking at the intelligence and all the other information that, you know, the Explorer and the Doctor and the others have shown me after the fact, it's pretty clear that that was a mistake. So.
That's an understatement. Were you blackmailed by anyone? Did your wife ever blackmail you into marrying her?
Absolutely not. I love my wife.
What was her relationship with the Explorer?
I think the Explorer would, you know, she would have a notebook full of months of investigations and notes, and you know, it'd be anything from, you know, the time that the commanding officer took a shit to you know, troop movements. It was way more detailed than ever was necessary, and so my wife would work with her to you know, consolidate it into useful information and reports. So they worked together, you know, on that.
Do you know how far ahead of time invitations are sent out for parties?
I don't really know about any of that. The Countess handles a lot of the party business.
So just to the group, there's
one, I think, like, bit of information that will help us narrow some stuff down. It will be how far ahead of time they try to get the invitations to people, and when the general got his invitation.
Can we ask the deceased corpse if he even got an invitation?
Second round of
Or
questioning.
did he just gate crash?
Did he just come?
Because I think that will help
Yeah.
narrow down who
I
added
think-
him
I
to the
think
list,
the-
or if it was
the
sent by
waitress
someone who
said-
didn't have anything to do with the list.
The waitress said she sent an invitation to him.
That's right, she
Ye-
did say
Yeah,
that.
she did.
Yeah.
But the
Yes,
Countess said she did not put him on the list, so it's
Yeah,
either the waitress
so-
or the cook that did it. Oh, I guess
No,
you're right. No,
or
that,
the
that,
Countess
that
was
eliminates my
lying.
question. Yeah, yeah.
Or the Countess
Or
was
the
lying.
Countess is lying.
Well, one of them
Right
is
now,
lying.
Or someone who's really good
Yeah.
at getting
So
intel
the main
and
thing that will
sneaking,
help
put it
us
on the
eliminate
list in
this,
between.
the main thing that will help us eliminate this is talking to the waitress to get the number of invitations sent. If that doesn't match the number of invitations, the meal preps the cook had to do,
That's a good
then we
question.
know the Countess was lying.
Wouldn't it be better to just ask the corpse, because corpse won't lie.
The cook told us how many guests there were on the list
Yes.
because he knew how many meals. So we can ask the waitress if that number
Matches.
matches.
That will tell us if the
Oh, shit.
There's another like kind of a bell sound that kind of announces another milestone in the night, and it kind of says, you know, we're close to the end of the festivities, and hopefully you have your suspects picked.
I think just
So we're not allowed to talk to anyone? Is that what they're insinuating?
No, it's sorry. The other part of this is the second clue that I have for you is just checking in. How is it going? Are we close to the killer? So many people here seem to dislike the Major General. How is he even invited to the party tonight?
right. So I think knowing if he was on the guest list before the cook or after the cook will change thoughts.
I actually really want to talk to the doctor again, because I think he might be also lying. I think that there's multiple people lying to us. The doctor's trying to cover for the general, and the general's dead right now. So if there's any reason that the general is dead and the doctor could be covering up information because it could implicate him. Sorry, her. Because of the skills that she has with the blade makes the most sense. So like if we got to go back a little bit on some of this, like there's a lot of this extra information that could help us narrow certain elements down. So we're pretty much trying to figure out basically who the murderer is and if there's blackmail in play, if that's for sure guarding that. Because if two people are lying, that means that they're in cahoots with each other potentially. So if the doctor did it, it could be because the Countess manipulated the situation to do so.
So if the general was on the list when it got to the chef, the Countess is involved. If it was after, it was either the waitress was involved or I think the explorer, the sneaky one, was involved.
Yeah, so we need to see if the explorer has been manipulating things to happen the way that they wanted them to happen, so that like you said, Chef or Dallan, it could be the explorer's manipulating a situation where the doctor wants to commit the act, or I don't know, like it's basically
it's
like
also interesting that
yeah.
just because there's a connection doesn't mean that someone's a murderer. So for example, it could have just been an opportunity. Like if the explorer's the murderer, maybe the Countess did invite the person, but she didn't murder that person, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah, that's
it
not-
might have been an opportunity.
well, for sure, Cari, but we know that the doctor and the explorer are the only two people who could have done the murder, like the act of it itself.
Yeah.
So we've narrowed down the suspects to do that,
Right.
at least.
So we need to find out if when the explorer was doing the hunts with the doctor or with the cook and the Baron, did she learn from the cook anything? The cook doesn't know the names, but
Cook doesn't know
maybe
anything.
Right, but I'm just trying to think like Maybe we need to see if somehow the explorer found out from the waitress.
So we should talk to the waitress next. Do what the.
Why can't we just talk with the general again?
I want to talk with the general.
We
again.
should
That would be
should
nice.
absolutely talk to the general just to get confirmation of certain answers.
Any
Just matter-
opposed?
Because he can't lie. Because he can't lie.
Is that
Yeah,
true, Chef?
yeah.
Can he lie based off of his own perception?
He cannot lie about anything that he knows. He will tell you if he doesn't know something.
Okay. So let's do that.
Okay.
What do you
Hello
need to
again.
ask the Major General?
Well, did you get an invite?
I did.
Do you recognize the handwriting?
Yes.
Yeah, it seemed to be, an official invite.
Was it a personal invitation from the Countess handwriting, or do you think it was from the waitress or whoever was sending the invitations?
I cannot tell who prepared the invitation.
But it looked correct, at least. It looked official.
Looked official, yes.
Did you get along with the doctor quite well?
Not quite well. He did his duty, I did mine.
Why?
Well, he was the one who performed a psych evaluation to determine if I was fit for duty, and that stressed our relationship, but
Can you talk
he
to
did
us
it
about
professionally.
Sorry. Can you talk to us about your injury then?
The Baron's the one with the injury.
The Major General? The Major General looks at his stab wounds and is just like, not much to say.
Sorry. Yeah, you're right.
Hurt. Who were you talking to before you got called up on stage?
I had a fight with the Explorer.
What did you talk about?
She called me an irresponsible commander who ignored all the advice that was good intelligence. Blamed me for getting those 40 men killed.
She right?
Was he correct?
Yeah, this is just the same thing.
Yeah.
Did she tell you the info beforehand? Did you know about the dangers?
I did, but I had an order to move the troops past that valley, and that was the only way to do it. I was just following orders.
From?
And you weren't ordered by the Baron?
The Baron was at the same rank as me at the time,
I
so it was
knew
not
that.
an
I
order
just
from the
wanted to
Baron.
double check.
So you chose to do it. No one actively ordered you to carry on with your initial orders.
It was 100% my own decision to order the men into that valley.
Why did you do it?
Yeah, why?
We needed to get across it.
Did
Do you
even
regret it in
succeed?
hindsight?
Yes, that was a mistake. Cost me my career, cost me my men, and I feel it's cost me my life.
Do you not regret anything about the 40 people who died?
I regret that my soldiers had to die.
Do you think the Baroness was sleeping with anyone else?
I don't think so. She always seemed to regret our relationship, and she's avoided me ever since.
Did she seem excited to see you or surprised when you came?
She seemed surprised to see me.
Did you guys speak?
She's avoided me all night long.
Okay, sorry. It's gotta come out. Did you speak to anyone else besides the Explorer?
I spoke with the doctor. I spoke with the explorer.
Mm-hmm.
I spoke with the Baron.
Do you know
That's all.
anything about the gunshot wound to the Baron? About whether it was an accident on purpose?
I was the one who shot him.
Wait, what?
Why?
Okay.
He was deeply in love with the woman I loved. and I wanted him out of the
Which is
picture.
who? Who was you in love with?
The Countess. Do you know that he told his men that it was just a ricochet?
I don't think he knows who shot him. I was behind him at the firing range and shot. It was unfortunately a incredible misfire, and rather than go through his heart, it went through his leg. Went clean through
How
it,
do
point
you
blank
hit
range.
someone's leg when you're aiming for their heart?
He's not a very good shot.
I'm
That's an understatement.
So why
not a
didn't
very good
you...
shot.
That's attempted
It was a
murder.
Are you sure
ricochet,
you
you
didn't,
might
like,
say.
sneeze or something? I'm trying to give you a bone.
But even though he missed, his intentions was to kill.
Your intentions
What
were to
did-
kill him.
What did you think
Yeah.
about afterwards? Did you let it go? I mean, the Baron was your friend. Like, how did you think about this entire situation? Did you try to?
Was the doctor there at the range with you?
No, I grabbed some of the nearby soldiers and rushed him to the hospital. I realized it was a mistake as soon as I had pulled the trigger.
Did
Hitting
you-
the leg instead of the heart is a mistake.
Did you tell the Countess what you did?
No,
Does
anyone
anybody
see-
else know?
Does she know?
I don't think
Oh,
anyone
does
else
she
knows
suspect?
this.
Okay.
Do you think the doctor could
Nice.
figure it out by checking the wound? Where he was shot from, or if it was a ricochet?
Or which gun the
If
bullet
you
came
were
from,
behind
possibly.
him, it was clearly not a ricochet from
I think
in
the
front
doctor
of
would
him.
be able to tell.
Would the doctor have any reason to avenge the Baron, though?
The doctor
avenge
is
the
good
Baron?
friends with the Baron.
Like
Correct?
if the doctor knew you shot the Baron, would he have a reason to kill you because of that?
He
You
might have
know.
killed me.
She.
Wait, let me finish.
She, yes, sorry.
It's okay.
Do you know of anyone who lost a friend or relative because of the decision you made for sending those soldiers down?
Yes.
Who's that?
Who?
The partner of the cook and the waitress were in the division that passed away.
Were they in a threesome?
No, they were separate
You said the
partners.
partner of the
Jeez, Cari. Fucking
Wait,
zero
no,
filter question. Fuck me.
The-
Sorry, Chef. Could you say that
makes
sentence again?
sense.
My mind just went
Yeah.
1,000 miles.
The
Couldn't have said polyamorous. He just went
husband-
straight for the throat.
the husband of the waitress and the wife of the cook were both in the division that was killed.
The respective partners of. I got it.
And
Yeah,
suddenly suspects are placed on the board again.
Oh boy.
My suspicion from like ages has been the waitress and the cook.
She was definitely my first
suspicion.
suspicion. Yeah.
Because I'm like, the other ones are just too obvious, and they just seem to be like, oh, we don't know anything, we don't know anything to do, and we're just doing our own thing. And I'm like, are you really?
Mm.
Okay, so
That happened, I guess. I'm good.
They did not tell. They straight up lied. They said they didn't know anyone in that division. They didn't know
I
any
think
people
we
who
actually-
died. They just straight
I
lied.
think we actually skipped that on those two guys
Couldn't
somehow.
I ask?
What?
No, we asked the
Yeah.
cook. We asked the
Yeah.
cook.
Can
He
I
lied.
ask-
Cook, okay.
He lied.
Can
Okay.
I ask the proctor of this whole event? Is it possible that there's two murderers?
The guy in the top hat is kind of like, ooh, a fascinating question. Perhaps. Not everyone is innocent as it seems.
Yeah.
I hate these
The
non-answers.
least innocent is the deceased.
Yeah, I
one person
suppose,
that adds the name to the list, and the other person's
It
good as a
doesn't
knife.
excuse murder.
They
I'm not
team
saying
up.
that.
It's a tag team murder duo.
Tag team, tag out.
One question for you. At any point were you ever going to reveal your affair with the countess to the Baron.
Did you use it as leverage? Yeah.
No, I loved her and I didn't want to hurt her. After the war, she made her choice.
Do you think she's scared that you would have?
It's possible. She lives a very nice life after the war, and the general has done very well for himself.
Okay.
What was the hint that we got from the second section? What was the second hint we got from the proctor?
You guys have been killing it on the hints, so
We're fine.
Oh,
the
okay.
proctor's just saying stuff for atmosphere.
They all served in the army together, which was hopefully you guys got that. And
Yeah.
then the second hint was
Yeah, we got.
everyone doesn't like
Okay.
the major general. How did he get invited?
Yeah, which I think we was already trying to figure that out.
It does seem like the
but you
waitress
can
might have
try
had a
So
hand
the
in
big thing is
writing
that
it.
he said, the Baron or the general
Right.
said that the Countess was surprised. Who else was surprised that you were here?
The doctor said. Did
No,
the doctor seem
I
surprised?
want to hear it from this guy. Who was surprised that you were
Your
here?
voice, dead person.
The Countess was surprised. The Baron was delighted.
Mhm.
The Explorer, the Doctor, were also very surprised.
What
Sorry, the
happens
doctor
if
and
the
who?
Baron was delighted for
Explorer.
a different reason than what we
Explorer.
thought.
Well, the Baron was. I'm old friends with the Baron. You know,
Uh-huh.
it's always good to see an old friend, and it sounds like he's been, trying to atone for mistakes in his past, and so he wanted to
Mistakes in
talk to
his past?
me about that.
What
is
mistakes
his
was he trying to
mistakes?
atone for? Getting
Well-
shot in the leg?
He wanted to apologize for not getting me fired sooner, which was an interesting thing to apologize for, but
Wait, what? He wanted to
That's-
apologize for not getting you fired sooner.
I
Why would he want?
understand that.
Why would he want you fired?
The
he
Baron?
stuck his
told-
neck out for me at the inquiry and, vouched for me and said I was doing my job efficiently and effectively. So
Can
he was
you-
the only reason I wasn't discharged after the complaint that I ignored the intelligence came in.
Why would he
Chef.
apologize to you about that?
Because
He regretted it, and he,
Shouldn't he be
wanted the truth
apologizing
to be
the
known.
Explorer about that?
I believe he talked to her as well.
It makes sense because it would have lost him years and years of the following times in the war, would have made the war effort worse for everyone. It would have also made his quality of life day to day much worse. So it makes sense that he wants to be truthful about this and try to make amends.
Are you sure that the Baron was, instead of being excited that his old friend came, excited that his nemesis came, that he could kill him?
Or is there bloodlust
know.
in his eyes?
Yeah.
Did you know that the
yes,
Baron
now I
knew?
can finally deal with this dude.
The conversation we had was hard, but it felt like a great lift was he was trying to lift a great weight off of his heart for so long.
a whiff.
Did you know the Baron knew that you slept with his soon-to-be wife?
I did not.
A soldier told him.
What?
A soldier told him.
Okay, sorry.
Chef, above board, am I getting the hint that there's no other physical evidence to look for, just the people to talk to? Like costume leftovers that the fox
Yeah,
must?
no costumes, no perfumes, nothing
Yeah,
too
yeah.
obvious like that.
I'm gonna point out at the waitress.
It's
Did
time.
you see her react to you?
The waitress? I didn't
Yes.
even notice her.
Okay. I think we might need to talk to other people and perhaps rapid fire it now. What say you, everyone?
Hang on. I want to
yeah.
ask him what the thing was that he saw that was suspicious this evening.
Ow, fuck. Haha.
What was suspicious for him? Oh, I saw the Baron and the Major General talking. Or I talked with the Major General tonight, and we discussed an incident from long in the past.
Wait, you're the Major General.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. He said he talked with the Baron.
Ah.
So that was specifically the apology you're referring to.
Yeah, the Major General apologized for
That was a suspicious piece for you?
that was strange, yes. I did not expect someone to apologize for almost getting me fired.
Did you send any of your food back? Didn't taste very good?
No, I did not.
Did you see anyone else?
I thought everyone who was enjoying the food who was actually really tasty.
Agreed.
I agree with
The only
that.
person I need to
because,
ask who sent their food back would probably be the other ladies, and then we can probably just talk with the waitress and figure it out from there. I'm happy with my questions, so I'm done.
Mm-hmm. Only thing need to ask the waitress is the number of guest invites sent.
You guys are running out of time, so only a few more questions. You guys are like basically running through the gala now, trying to ask people these last few questions.
Pushing people out of the way so we can get the questions first.
Yeah. All right. You guys want to go to the waitress next? I'm guessing.
Yeah, I'll come with you guys.
You guys have about let's say 3 minutes.
Okay, well, what do you think about that message I sent?
Okay, Mash, go.
Excuse me. One more question. How many invites did you send out? Do you remember?
Like 200, something like that. Lots.
It's not an accurate number.
Wouldn't you remember?
Maybe if it was a smaller gathering for like 10 to 15, but this is 200 people.
Yeah, but
And
why
if
did
she
you?
has ADHD, she's not gonna remember numbers.
Why did you? Why did you lie about not knowing anyone that was in that incident?
I have tried to forget the past. I've met someone new, and I've moved on with my life.
Is that why you and the cook are corroborating with inviting the general here?
We didn't invite the general here.
Are you lying?
You mean just you did it?
I did not doctor the guest list.
Did you know that the cook also lost someone in that incident? Much the same as you.
I did not. He hasn't shared that with me.
Is there a reason
He's a
why
very
you
professional
reached out to
person.
the cook?
Lies.
Years after you reached out to the cook for a position, were you close enough beforehand that you even consider reaching out to the cook?
No, honestly, we were distant co-workers at that point.
So what caused you to reach out to the cook?
Desperation. I was a widow, unemployed,
How
veteran of the
many
war.
years
I
of
reached out to
being-
just the few contacts I had left.
Okay, we got to get moving, guys. We can't dilly-dally with too many questions on the one person. Who's next?
Yeah,
do you want to go back to the
I'm
countess,
good.
or do you want to go to the cook?
I'm good.
We have to absolutely go to the cook, so if we leave him last, we're good.
Lead it on, Renok. Go for it.
All right.
Lead the charge. Push
Let's
people
go.
out of the way.
I literally start running. Dun, 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 dun. Hey, we still need to talk to you.
You still have a glass of wine.
He's tapping his wristwatch, just like, you
Okay.
got 30 seconds.
Okay. Did you not know that? Why didn't you tell us you lost someone during the incident with the 440 people dying?
I didn't think it was relevant.
You lie a lot.
We asked you.
Did you not know that the woman you're with also lost someone in that incident?
She's told me she's a widow now.
So you did not know.
Only recently I've kind of found that out.
How did you find out?
Yes.
She told me.
Someone tag in Mashko.
It is around now that
It is you.
all of these
and
suspects are escorted, and they make their way up to the stage, where the narrator once again takes the stage with all the suspects lined up behind him, and there's guards, roughing them up and holding them in their positions.
Incredible.
The soldiers will arrive soon, not just these guards, and they'll need us to point the finger at the murderer and who should be held accountable for the murder here tonight. Is it the Countess, who regretted a torrid affair with the monstrous Major? She was afraid he would dig up her past and end her life of luxury with the Baron. And she does the response to the allegations.
Really great stuff.
Was it the Explorer, who was wronged by the Major and dishonorably discharged for doing her duty beyond exceptionally? And the Explorer shakes her head disgusted.
No.
Was it the Baron, who regretted his choices and wanted to bring justice to those he hurt in the past? Was it the cook, who had direct access to knives and the knowledge on how to execute? Was it the waitress, who heard all the gossip and took justice into her own hands? Was it the doctor, who blamed himself for following his oath rather than seeing the greater good?
Greater good.
I need each person to send me who they think it was in a private message, as an envelope makes its way around the room. You have to enter your character's name and your suspect, and the results will be tallied up.
Send it to you personally, Chef?
Yeah, I would like to know what each person thinks.
Okay. Sorry, Cari, if I made it a bit biased for you.
That's fine.
Where's Chef? There he is.
I also responded as the character who is just no details, just this is it.
Anyone picking the cook? Can you just put in you while actually messaging Chef? Appreciate that.
What?
Just imagine Renok says I did it.
Meshadieme.
All right.
Oh.
It was me.
Can we eat now?
Jodie, who do you think it was?
Oh, one sec.
I haven't.
It's tied right now.
Wow, really?
So it all comes down to Jodie.
I haven't answered yet.
Aww.
Oh, Cari too. Oops, sorry. We have 6 people, so it can tie.
Yeah, it can still tie.
All right, break that tie. Oh, then again, it could be more than just 2.
All right, Cari.
Ooh.
We're waiting on your answer.
I don't think my answer is correct, but based on paper, I'm gonna go with it.
It's okay if you lose.
It doesn't matter, Cari. This isn't about winning. This is just about having fun. Fun part's questioning.
No.
Oh, and the level up's on the line too.
Yay!
No, you sent it to the wrong
If you get it
person.
wall, you don't level up. That's fucked, dude. That's so fucked.
You didn't see that.
Yes. I think it was your mom.
Yeah, please, Dallan, say that.
Cari, you sent it to me.
I hate that you guys both have
Cari,
Lord
you
in
didn't
your
send
name.
it to Chef. You sent it to Mesh.
Yeah, they both have Lord something. And there's a
Well,
there's
the
a mage and a
narrator
mesh.
is waiting on a few last names, but he goes into the next part of his spiel here. The doctor, only once in his career has he ever questioned his oath to do harm, and his psych evaluations during the war extended the conflict, costing lives. Was the greater good in question? He failed to act at that time? Has he used his expert surgical hands to eviscerate the Major General? No, he is true to his oath and submitted formal repeals of his psych evaluations that led to these disasters. He has made peace with his past and is held strictly to his oath. The doctor is innocent.
Safe.
The explorer, the truest and best soldier in the war, sought revenge against the Major for getting her discharged, but she went through official channels seeking an official reprisal. She did not know that the Baron would stand up for his friend and ended up getting burned when the Major General filed a countersuit. She was a staunch pacifist, not advocating for any violence against humans, but was an avid hunter, which may not have been strictly pacifist, but strictly she was truly a pacifist. She would not stoop to cause physical harm after a life of peace. The explorer is innocent. I need to do the tabulations really quick.
Tabula rasas.
Oh, so many votes. 7.
69.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to talk and do two things here. Calm those tits down.
We need to hire you for the US ballot. You're doing a great job.
They only have one job and they can't get that right.
Indeed.
And it's still not an
'Cause
automated
they're going,
system.
1, 2. Shut up, Mark. You're getting me confused. I gotta start counting over again.
I like the whispers in the music. I think it was Shep.
All right, parcel tongue.
Second box.
Can we eat now? Second dinner.
Muted, chef.
Some of you gave 2 answers, which make it even harder.
What? Who?
It does not surprise me.
Who was that? Cari.
I gave 1 answer.
Twice.
Well,
The
you just
same
gave it to
answer
2 different people. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was about to say the same thing.
That's what I meant.
Say my name.
Say
Alright.
his name and he appears.
Stop.
We also have a chat.
Stop.
The next
Yep.
person that we will exonerate tonight,
Is
the Baron, as his long friendship with the Major General ended abruptly after revelations about how past deeds have come to light. Did the Baron correct a regret tonight by cutting down his fellow officer? No, the Baron is fat, slow, and crippled. He has never been fit enough to be a soldier, and
You
is too
never told
stupid.
us he was
I
fat.
didn't know he was fat
Until he
until
was
the
shot.
We didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't
I
want
knew that.
My man likes to eat.
It was
That
one.
makes all the difference in the world.
Not many people explored the Baron in the Major General's history all the way back to training camp, how they were, carted through training camp, through the officer camp on a silver spoon. They both failed all of their training activities. And so the Baron may have had motivations, but he's just was not capable of doing it.
Rebozo.
The Countess, the cook, and the waitress remain.
the chat says cook, by the way.
The Countess, a torrid affair at the New Year's party, in the lingering doom of the petty Major General looms over her for her entire life. She intended to win the competition tonight and planned to be on the stage with the Major General, fully intending to end his life. She remained sober to keep her skills sharp, her hands weapons of precision after years of working as a typist. She was the one who invited the Major General tonight, intending to murder him. It was a surprise to all of the other guests that he showed up tonight. But someone else took the position of the Queen of the Ball and was the murderer tonight. The cook and the waitress lock eyes. A realization in the cook's eyes. The waitress did it. Why, he asks, confused. I loved another man once, so much that I married him, and I went to war to stay close to him, and worked however I could just to be near him. He told me he was shipping off to a valley for a mission. Everyone knew it was going to be very dangerous, but he said the scouts just came back from the area and reported it to the officers that it was deadly dangerous. Everything was going to be fine, he said. He trusted that ignorant wretch of an officer, and my husband and his entire division headed out to the valley, marching to their death. The Major General sent my husband to die, fully well knowing that that was the very likely outcome of that march. I left on a boat with the explorer, the very same person who told him it was a mistake. She told me how the scouting report she gave the officers made it crystal clear everyone in the valley would die. We filed a formal complaint against the Major General and gave it to the Baron who we trusted to carry out justice. We found out that all of the official channels and some less than official channels had failed to get this man removed from power, and we had no other option. The Baron introduced me to the doctor, who failed to classify the monster as an irresponsible officer and left him in a position of power. I had failed to get any form of justice for my husband and his comrades, so I did the next best thing. I reached out to every soldier I could and told them to transfer out of the Major General's division. I made sure he was a pariah so that no soldier wanted to be associated with him. I watched his career stagnate and burn down as he got shuffled from post to post. When there were no other options, they forced an early retirement option, and I hatched my plan for revenge years ago. I fed the Countess the idea of a masquerade after I had learned to butcher and cut up animals from my new lover. I doctored the guest list, or I didn't need to doctor the guest list because I was surprised to already see the Major General on the list, which caused more drama than I would have liked. This man was a monster to so many, perfect for my plan. I thought I could hide amongst the confusion tonight. A murder in a mask is among so many others that would want him dead. I look to you now and see mostly relief on all of your faces. I have done a service to you all tonight, and I ask for a small favor in return. Let me go. Doctor, I have bettered the world where you could not. Explorer, I have avenged the man where you could not. Countess, I have ended the terror that you could have not lived, or the terror that you have lived in for decades. Baron, I put down the dog that you could not stand to see. Guests, have I not earned my freedom? And the narrator and all the suspects turned towards the audience, seeking an answer. Yes or no?
I mean, you murdered somebody.
Okay,
So,
you
no.
murdered somebody.
I'm sorry.
Like,
Locked away.
Did you get away with murder? I
Yeah.
mean,
Be locked away in prison forever.
it can't be. I don't disagree with the stuff she says about the guy
Yeah.
being a monster who knowingly sent a load of people to their deaths. All of that is true. I don't disagree, but that doesn't mean you need to be judge, jury, and executioner.
So that's
Just as
2 no's,
just-
3 no's?
just
I
as
guess
he, just as he wasn't correct in sacrificing and killing 440 people, neither are you for killing one.
Also, the Countess should probably be
Fucking kill her.
locked away for
Do
an
it.
attempt of murder.
Well, she didn't actually attempt the murder.
Grim cackles.
Close enough.
She should be frowned upon.
I mean, she put him on a list, and then she told us that she wanted to
She
kill
was
him.
planning to kill him.
The
Yes, but she did
shouts
not.
of no injustice
Intent of
and
murder.
your vengeance isn't valid.
Can't punish
The
that.
waitress looks dejected and broken, but then a steel of determined washes over her, and she
Wait, what the
lunges for the knife. I will not
What the
face
fuck?
another person's justice anymore. I will continue to control my own fate, just as I have done
Oh,
tonight.
hell no! Get that
She
knife
pulls
off her right now.
the knife to her heart, and
Oh no!
she's
can
like
we
up on
do
a balcony.
something?
You can't get to her.
Oh wait! This isn't real.
Why,
This is all
why?
staged.
The
hopefully.
cook
Jodie.
though
I know it's
grabs her
staged, but
hand.
Can we stage stop her?
You guys can't
Stage
reach
stop.
them. They're up on a stage. But the cook jumps to her and clasps her hands and the knife firmly. My love, I cannot bear the thought of losing you and falling to desperation as you have fallen tonight and going through this all again. Let me go with you into the beyond. He grabs another knife and holds it to his own chest. The couple embraces in a deep, passionate kiss, and they pull their bodies towards one another, the blades sinking deep into each other's chests.
Oh, nasty.
They collapse, still embraced in the mortal kiss.
Two households, both alike in dignity.
Oh dear.
It's literally Romeo and
What a
Juliet, yeah.
tragedy.
And
The room
everyone
bursts
really
into
lay on his
applause,
team.
and the suspects and the narrator all take turns bowing. The couple stands up and bow together, and the room is cheering and throwing glasses of wine.
None of us got it right, did we?
I did.
Glasses of wine? What?
She was
You
my
did?
second choice, but I didn't vote for her.
Janus
Okay,
claps his hands. He's like,
I
yay.
The
Can we
narrator
eat now?
announces the winners of the evening are welcome to join the Lord and Lady in the parlor for a celebratory toast before they join the less successful guests on the veranda for a nightcap under the stars.
Will there be food?
So who won then?
Do you want to eat after that?
I'm eating right
I
now.
did. I think.
The party of adventurers had
Bye-bye,
enough
Goldy.
people
I won.
that that you guys have an invitation, and Mariusz comes and gathers you and says, "Would you like to go to the parlor to meet the Lord and Lady?"
Hey. Yes. Sure.
He escorts you out of the ballroom
Time limits.
and to the parlor. You know, an air of relief is in the air as all of the stress kind of unwinds pretty quickly. He's like, "That was really quite the performance, huh?" Making small talk with you as he leads you there. And he opens the parlor door, and you see the lady in a fox mask and the rabbit both
It was
lounging
her!
on the couches, and he's like, "Guilty as charged."
Ah, you did a fine job, both of you.
But then the lady who you haven't met before takes off her masks, and she looks at you strangely. She looks at Janus. "Baby brother?"
Wait, what? That's
I
a
believe-
sister.
Couldn't be you. It's
Your
been.
mic is off or something.
Does,
I
does
turned
she
it off
look?
because
Does she
I was
look
going to
young
be
still?
very
Right?
loud.
She looks young still.
Oh.
She looks like the same age as when you last saw her.
The
Wait,
first thing.
confused.
The first thing that I'm gonna do before I even say anything is I'm gonna try to catch a scent of like foul blood in the air.
But we'll take that up next time.
I'm confused. Like, can
The
someone explain to me?
correct terminology
This-
is Nissan, okay? You need to get that right.
So this
Or
is the
Nathan.
this is the woman who posed as the killer before she like did the killing and then went to the balcony to wait, right? Yeah.
Yep.
How many of us won? Is it just me and Janus?
I lost.
Goldie,
I
you
won.
got it. You said the waitress alone. Mesh said the waitress and the chef were in cahoots.
I
What
did
I
say
said
wait.
too.
I said the
I thought they
waitress
were in
did it, though.
cahoots.
I didn't.
Jodie, didn't you say the chef?
The
Wait,
cook.
read what I wrote.
And then
Wait,
Rob
so
also
it's-
corrected his as well.
Cook did it. You said Cook did it.
I didn't correct it. I just said they
That was the
conspired.
cook and the
but
waitress
cook-
conspired. Yeah.
Cook did it.
thought
I said the
conspired,
opposite.
the
Well, I
cook- the cook-
said
I
the
got it.
opposite.
I got it wrong. I thought the cook. I thought they conspired. Yeah, I thought they.
Well,
I thought they did it together.
my intent, enough people got it half right that I was going to give you a half level.
I was kind of
And so
like
you
a.
can,
I was kind of like a thing where I
Wait,
thought it
what?
was the waitress, but I was like, I don't have enough evidence, so I have to.
So
vote on
here's the
someone I
thing,
have more
for me, it
evidence
was-
Thing
for.
that's
For me-
wild, I directly asked if the waitress, like, did you study under the cook? Did you learn to cut up things and do that?
Yeah,
she
well, she
lied about
lied. She lied.
She lied.
Yeah.
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 So,
Good question.
Here's the thing for
I
me,
thought-
chef,
I
to go
thought
along.
The cook taught her. So you need to cut here, here, and here.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah,
I thought
yeah.
he taught her.
So I thought that they were in cahoots a little bit, but the main thing that I sent to chef, because I'm gonna share this with Cari and the others, because I sent it to Mesh.
Yeah.
But I basically said it makes so much more sense that it was the waitress. Just full disclosure, I was gonna vote for her, but I was like, I can't ignore the metagame thing where chef is running the puzzle and chef makes the cook the killer is
Yeah,
too good for me to
yeah.
not just write down.
Yeah.
And I was like,
The
I
one
know
thing
he
we'll-
probably thought that was a potential, and did it, but I'm like, look, I know the waitress is the only other female that I suspect. It's definitely gonna be her. And it's like, well, maybe there's some fun gender bend thing. Maybe he grabbed a couple of apples and stuck them in his nips or something. I don't know. So
Big apples.
those are some big apples, yeah.
As the killer's running away, the apple falls out.
Yeah, yeah. But anyways,
So-
I thought it was really good, Chef. Excellent job with this. I have
Yeah, that
more
was
notes
quite
on
fun.
this one night than I have in the entire campaign.
Yeah.
You-
One thing
wait.
I want to point
I
out.
wrote like 3 pages of notes. Oh, 2.5.
Guys,
Sorry,
did you
2.5.
actually know- Did you not notice that the entire time, whoever we were speaking to, no one interacted with the waitress. She was never involved in any.
She was always,
discussions with
like,
anyone.
Well, she
Away
was
from everything.
actually. She was. The explorer
cook.
mentioned
The
her.
cook mentioned her and the
The
explorer
cook
mentioned her.
talked
Yeah.
about her.
Oh, I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
thought
No,
that.
They just
That's
mentioned
okay,
that they
though.
saw her at one time on the base. That was it.
Right.
When
Yeah.
when
We
when she
talked
lied
to-
about the number of
No.
guests, that ticked the
That
box
was
on
super
her for me.
sus. Yeah.
That
It
ticked the box
wasn't
on
to
her.
me, but that's
Okay.
because if you were to ask me how many people I
Oh.
invited to my wedding, I would tell you a lot.
Yes. Well,
Well,
putting
I-
logic of things that you do, Cari, has like it's kind of.
I think I just do too
Absent.
much real world logic. Like they could have ADHD.
Be different because that
just
for you
because
that
they
was
don't have.
years ago. For her, it'd be like
I meant
within a couple
The
of weeks.
same
Right.
day. Like
Oh,
I
the
don't
same
know.
day. Oh.
I don't know numbers. I can describe to you what they look like, but I can't tell you the number.
Guys, what the waitress bit? That meant present day. No one interacted with her during the ball.
No.
Right?
The explorer saw her and the cook making out. So the cook verified that they made out.
Right. Okay,
So they
that's,
did,
Yeah,
That was the first hint we got on it.
right. Then never mind. Yeah, well, to me, it's still a case of like she has enough
Yeah.
time to do something. You know, I also
Yeah.
thought that she was going to get the cook as a scapegoat, but I thought no, she is the murderer.
Well, she could have.
So yeah. So what? So it's me. It's
Sophia.
You're the only one who
Jodie
got it
and
right
Mesh.
all the way. Like you're like, this is the person.
No, I mean, I think if I hadn't like zoned out a few times, and I might have been a bit more. I've just been really foggy today, but I
okay.
mean that's not an excuse. I'm just not good at murder mysteries. I'm gonna be honest. I'm just not.
You guys did excellently though. You guys were carving through a lot of the false leads and bits and bobs really nicely.
It was really hard to
Sophia
kind of like
Driscoll.
let everyone talk and then also try to keep the like I want to repeat this question every time I go to talk to someone
Yeah.
just so that I get a different answer each time or the same
I
thing.
appreciate you guys were distributing the questions as well.
Yeah.
Like there were times like I didn't want to talk because people were asking questions. Like, well, that's
Right.
what I wanted to ask. Oh, but other people are talking. Let them talk. You know. So-
Right. Yeah.
but, hey, we got the
It's
information.
tough.
We got the info. That's good. Yeah, this was fun. Are we gonna at least talk about what happened with Chamilla at least at one point? Because I feel like that we shouldn't skip past the whole. But something happened with her.
Okay.
I
So
assume,
Next
right?
week?
just
But
real quick,
next
there is
week
no
now.
game next week.
2 weeks.
Just
Oh, right.
remember, there is no game next week
What, for two?
because
for
of
2
Poplio, Calm Day.
That's right.
So there's no game at all next
Oh,
week.
Oh,
Yeah, that-
man.
Yeah, hear that, Jodie? You get.
Wait.
Are we still
Oh, yeah.
live?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a question. No, wait, it doesn't matter. I'll tell you after.
Cari, Fancy is here until the 7th, but the 7th I think is the next time Chef said that we can play, and then the next 2 weeks Chef will be absent,
Right.
and we will be absent on the 21st because your
Yeah.
in-laws or my in-laws, your
Emmy.
parents, and yeah, so we got 3 people missing, 4 people missing that day. So 21st definitely no game. 31st of this month definitely no game. So please put those in your calendars. They're already in the Discord, so you can find it there if you zone out or miss it. On the 7th, Chef does say you said that that's a possibility of still having a game in 2 weeks.
Yep.
Okay, and then the next thing that we need to iron out is the 14th,
new
whether
cat?
you and I can, whether we can play Wild
No.
Mount.
I've never seen that cat before.
Cat distraction. What we
No one
saying,
heard what I said. On the
So second time.
14th,
It?
on the 14th, we need to figure out if we're going to play Wildmount that day.
Right.
Okay. The new player's handbook will come out on the 4th. So after that time, I'll try to meet with Harry to get some things situated. But
That also fucks up everything on D&D Beyond.
yeah, in theory, it should fuck up a lot of the spells and shit.
Why?
Yeah.
Because they made a big decision that dropped like 2 days ago that they're like, we're changing all the spells to the new shit and you can't do anything about it. And everyone fucking hates it.
Gonna have to redo our character sheet.
Don't.
I just wish they had like a keep 4E or keep the 5E options and then
Well,
the 5.1E
if you have any homebrew
options.
items or any like 2014, if we have any 2014 player's handbook or like any of the old magic items, as long as you duplicate them into the homebrew and save it in your homebrew by doing that, then we have those items still. But if any of the magic items are not the same from one edition to the next, they will change. If any of the spells, like both in the wording of the spells, the range of the spells, and how they work, some of them are changing names, but I think there's only 2 spells that are changing names. And then there's, of course, new spells that are being added. All of that stuff shifts over. I don't think if you have a 2014... Like, the biggest thing that we're going to have to check is Renok's sheet. Like, if you get marked with Legacy, or if they actually just update everything and you get fucked with smites and stuff. So, but, again, you can homebrew some of the rules. So, like, we can worry about that kind of on a later basis. But if you have, like, an actual physical PHB from 2014 in your house, specifically, I think, Chef, you actually have an original PHB, don't you?
No.
No? Does any... So, none of us have physical books, then?
Nope.
Okay. Well, then, the only way to get access to it is probably through Roll20 or through 5e Wiki, or if you've got a Actually, I have a PDF of it. Yes, Cari.
Okay.
So, anyways, I'll just do a recap and then we'll close the stream and we can talk. So, 31st, no game. That's next week. No game on Saturday. The 7th, Barovia returns. We'll try to, before that week, sometime during that week, the rules will change. So we got to all corroborate with Chef. And then I will specifically target time with Harry to see if we can situate his stuff before the 14th. The 14th may be Wildmount, and the 21st, no game. So the next 2 Barovia games, in theory, should be the 7th and the 28th. Those are the next 2 possible days that we'll play Barovia, with a guarantee on the 7th, most likely. All right, guys. That's going to be it for the stream. Thanks for hanging out. We lost Dallan. I think he probably got called in to do something.
Okay.
Cari,
That'll be it for the stream.
To watch.